Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. So now we are just fashionably late instead of really late.
Could I have some of those what did you call that? Adult content? I could use some of that.
I can give you a link to Pornhub.
Okay, well, if it's a start, I'm good.
Gotta wait at least 5 minutes so the YouTube bots get their attention away from something else.
Yeah, well, that's really only a risk about being demonetized. And like I say, I have no illusions about my channel ever being monetized.
So this is National Flatmates Day, huh?
Yep. So for the purpose of discussion, we'll just define flatmates as anybody you've lived with that you weren't related to or romantically involved with at the time.
Oh! I thought you were talking about groups of people who all believed in the flat Earth. I'm sorry.
I thought it was some kind of fetish.
Well,
See, and I was wondering why it was listed as Flatmates as a U.S. holiday, because I was wondering if there was any region of the U.S. that people would call it a flat rather than an apartment. That's a very British term.
They call it a flat if it's a duplex house.
Okay, I have not heard anybody use that in my experience.
Oh, I in Milwaukee, it's the only word we ever heard. Because there were so many duplexes that were, almost everyone was being rented on the upper level or something like that.
Okay.
But the people were still called roommates. The place was a flat, but the people were still roommates. So it's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Although actually roommate is kind of an odd term because you're not sharing the same room. Usually you've got separate bedrooms. So let's see on the side chat. Oh, Dog is here. Hey, Dog. Hope you're doing well. And Commander 401 and Mark Short so far.
It's always good to be from Ohio, not there, isn't it?
I have met a lot of people who were from Ohio. I never met anyone who willingly moved to Ohio. Maybe that should be the state motto. Ohio, a good place to be from.
There you go.
So Bub and Alex got married yesterday.
Yay! Congratulations if you're listening.
Yeah, so April 1st, we're going to be running a fundraiser for them to help them get the plane tickets to Germany so that they can get out of this weird mess.
They've been a couple for a long time. I wonder if the actual act of marriage was needed because of refugee status or something like that. Would make it easier.
I think they were planning that before the whole refugee thing.
I know they had at least talked about getting married. I think the refugee thing probably, made them set a specific date before Alex left.
Well, I was thinking because Bob, isn't trans or anything like that. So
no.
I guess having a mate would kind of, make it obligatory to take him too.
Hello. Can you hear
Pirate
me?
Kitty. Haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. How you doing, honey bunny?
Hey, Jenny. I just saw you guys were going live and thought I'd come in and say hi since I hadn't been around in years.
Yeah.
No.
Hello.
I work a 5 a.m. morning shift now, so I'm usually in bed most of the time when you're streaming or at work.
Mm-hmm.
But I came home from work today and went to sleep for 4 hours, so now I'm up.
You work? Oh, that's so sad. You work? That's so sad.
I keep telling people this. You can't let real life get in the way of your YouTube time.
Yeah. So what you guys talking about today?
It's National Roommates Day, Flatmates Day. So we're celebrating and
everybody must have some stories about somebody they lived with who was either great or horrible.
I lived with my uncle for a few months.
okay.
He threw a bunch of stuff. He threw a bunch of my stuff off behind my back, then lied to my face about it.
That really sucks.
Well, I can understand why it was only for a couple of months.
Well, it was maybe a little longer than a couple of months, few months, but
yeah.
And that was right after we basically had lost us quite a bit too. So that was like, the absolute worst timing to do something like that.
Yeah, the one time I was actually desperate to get a roommate, that I actually tried through an ad in the paper, and that was a huge mistake because the guy wound up coming home drunk virtually every night.
That was another problem with my uncle. He was very much an alcoholic.
I've only ever lived with my significant others, so it wasn't usually too bad.
I'm usually the bad roommate in my relationship. So
actually, I have to take that back. That right after my late fiance died, I couldn't afford the house I was in alone without her income. And about 3 weeks after she died, a friend of ours showed up on the doorstep with his suitcase that he was no longer with his girlfriend and needed a place to live. So then I shared the house with him for about 4 or 5 months there. That was still about as long as I could keep it going because the rent was too much.
I guess I was still lucky.
It actually helped because, right at that time I needed time to get myself reorganized. He was actually the one who, ultimately made me become a full atheist. I mean, my faith, I had been pagan for, 25 years, but even before she died, I was seriously questioning if there was anything to it or if it was more really just, theatrics and comforts. And when she died, he was an out atheist, and I asked him, pretty much asking everybody, well, what do you think happens after you die? And he just said nothing. That's the end. And yeah, that was the only thing anybody had told me in months that actually sounded true.
The physical form breaks down into its constituent parts and goes off to nourish other things.
Yeah. Well, everyone else was about the spirit, and
I think we should start distilling bodies down to their constituent elements and harvest the elements. Not a very popular opinion, but
And bits of you will fly through the air. There is bits of dust. That's until they land on your sandwich.
Up.
Well, I'm basically figuring the best outcome is I become fertilizer and a tree grows. So, basically I become a tree.
I would like that myself. That's actually one thing I'm considering for your burial is, put the seed in the ashes, plant the tree.
Yeah, the state of Minnesota has now approved that they have some tree farms going up. That basically they just put the body in a burlap bag and they plant a sapling over it.
I hit the wrong button.
Okay. I was wondering what had happened. I didn't know if maybe your partner had called you away for something.
No. No, you know, the only thing that I have that could be considered a roommate horror story or anything like that, for a time, my ex-husband and I, we lived in Minnesota with his family, and his half brother at the time had like a psychological break and was running through the house swearing that his ex-girlfriend was in the place. So he's running around the place with a shotgun looking for his ex-girlfriend.
That's not good.
Yeah, no, kind of terrified me because of course they were native. We were staying on a reservation with them, and his ex-girlfriend was white and I was white, and I'm like, if he's having a psychological break and he's looking for a white chick and I'm a white chick here, I could be shot. So I freaked out.
Yeah, it's definitely time to get out of there as quick as you can. Wait for it to calm down. I did not know you'd ever lived in Minnesota.
I'm sorry, did I say Minnesota? I meant Montana.
Okay. All right.
Well,
yeah, I was wondering. You hadn't mentioned Minnesota before, so I was surprised. Yeah, everybody wants to be from Minnesota, right?
Minnesota, eh?
Well, we already have a New Mexico. So I had proposed we should rename Minnesota to be New Canada.
New Canada, yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
I was going to call it Little Canada, but we already have a city named Little Canada here, so I couldn't use that.
Why not?
Yeah,
we've got New York, New York. Why can't we have Little Canada, Little Canada?
You don't have to change your name a little bit to like really or kinda or Little Canada. Or even little Canada.
Tiny Canada.
Oh, whoa.
Mini Canada. There you go.
Well, dog, why don't you come in and tell us about it? I sent you a link. Oh, hey, Skits, I sent you a link too.
Why is everybody animals? I'm just kidding.
Well, you know, I don't have any there pure animals. Mine are either anthro or robotic. That's your choices.
Jenny's the only normalish looking person in the room.
Normal-ish? Thank you very much. Jeez.
And then I got this one that's both. Bree made that for me. Bree redid the two of us as Iron Man and the Wasp.
Oh, okay. I'm on the phone, so it's really small. I couldn't quite make it out.
Yeah. Although if you watch Bree's channel, the waiting screen, the animation for that, everything you see goes by is a reference to somebody's YouTube channel.
Mm.
You know, and you got to pick them all out. And at one point, there's a truck that goes by with a sign on the trailer that says Beck's house. And there's an orange triceratops standing on the top of the trailer. And there's a sloth riding the triceratops.
That's clever.
Oh, hi, Granny. You know, Granny, you're invited to join anytime you want to.
Hi, Kel. How are you?
pretty much anybody I know who can come in here and join. Oh, so Kitty, what have you been doing all this time you've been away? Just working?
Yeah, working and playing my video games. That's about it. With everything going on, it's like I'm just gonna bury myself. I'm just gonna escapism into my video games.
Yeah, I get that idea.
I play Axis and Allies a lot, mostly with my brother. But
yeah, I see.
Yeah, he's going for training this week, so he's not going to be around. And I tried to just get a game going with a random stranger, and the guy quit after the second turn.
You remember we're friends on Steam.
Yeah,
we're friends on Steam. I see you pop up, and I'm like, Purple plays video games?
Yeah, I see you pop up when you log in and out. I don't really play what most people would consider video games. I mostly do more, the adaptations of board games.
Don't let people downplay it. That's BS.
No, it's just a different kind of thing.
Still
valid. I hate people that are like, oh, you play mobile games. Oh, you play Stardew Valley. You're not a real gamer. Talk to me when you've played some Call of Duty.
Yeah, Sloth Girl and I play a lot of the Ticket to Ride series and the Carcassonne.
I like playing RPGs myself.
I liked, sitting around with people and doing live role playing, and I suppose I could do something like that online too. I just haven't found a group for it. But as far as like the shooter games and that, they were never that appealing to me. And also, I just know my reflexes are kind of slow. I have trouble with the controllers, and I just have trouble responding to stuff on the screen that fast.
One of the reasons why I got into playing video games was to help with my hand-eye coordination after a stroke.
I can see that. Granny, Sloth Girl loves all sorts of word games. She is very big on doing, crossword puzzles and everything of that nature.
I'm too boring to play games.
Grandy, if you like world exploration, you should try, have you ever played, Skyrim or any Bethesda game, honestly?
Yeah, games that would be more, like a quest or an exploration without so much combat. Those are things I could get into more.
My boyfriend recently got me playing Fallout 76, which is there's combat to it, but it's a lot of world exploration, and you can do the combat not tactfully. Maybe? Is that the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Tactically? Yeah, I think I'll go with that. So instead of just charging in and fighting things, like I'll hide behind a tree and snipe them and then run away until they forget me and then shoot them in the head again until I kill them. This is more button do. Comment. What's this?
Oh, the comment button on the StreamYard lets you look at what all the people in chat are saying.
Yeah, and before I forget, go ahead.
I was thinking maybe the next game I played would be Surviving Mars. It's a simulator game like SimCity.
Yeah, Diana's been playing that a lot, so I've kind of picked up a bit of it from her. I was thinking I might buy that one.
This silly game that I've played before that I'd like is called Galactic Mining Corporation. And it's basically like you build your little corporate headquarters, and then you go out and buy planets, and then you drill the planets and try and collect the core of the planet. It's just mindless digging.
Yeah, there's a lot of games on that vein of, going and finding resources, either just for scoring money or just for having to build things.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed Overlord. That was a fun game. I got the whole pack. Yeah, so I got the sequels to it as well.
Yeah, when I had first tried to start streaming, I streamed the first 2 Overlord games or something. I think I have all 3 of them. Or 4 of them. I can't remember how many there are right now.
Way back in the Commodore days, there was a game called Fantasy. That was spelled like PH. It was your basic, dungeon crawl type things that you were wandering through the wilderness. You'd find dungeons. You go in, fight various things.
Wasn't that Phantasm?
Nope, that was a different one.
Thinking of something else then.
Yep. But yeah, that was one of the things. One of the reasons I don't play a lot of computer games is because that one showed me how much I could get obsessed with them. And just like, I don't sleep anyway. So for me to sit at the computer for 30 hours straight is nothing. And then I learned how to hack the game.
That's not legal.
Because all the stuff, because of the computer's limited memory, everything was doing disk swaps all the time. So I found the location of the character files on the disk, and I was able to directly poke the attribute values into the characters. So I cranked all the characters up to 255 on all their attributes, and we went and killed Zeus. The game wasn't a challenge after that.
The cool thing about having Steam is that a lot of games you can get the demos for them. And you can try out the demo to see if you like it before you buy it. Or download the full version, as the case may be.
Yeah, one of them, Sloth Girl plays City Skylines was the game she plays a lot. So I bought that one with several of the expansion packs, but, I have to kind of learn how to use it. And I was getting frustrated with it when I first tried. And that was before I realized that the trackball I had at the time was slowly dying. So I realize now that some of my frustration with trying to learn it had to do with that. And I should give it another try again now that I've got a better trackball. Of course, this one's starting to get funky too. I'm finding these things have a much shorter life expectancy than they used to. I don't know if they've gone to using cheaper parts in them or what.
What brand is it?
It's the Logitech 570, so it's an exact replacement for the 2 I had before it.
I've been having a lot of trouble with Logitech lately. I had to replace my mouse like several times, like every once a year, because the mouse buttons kept going out. But I got a Microsoft mouse now, and it's been holding up pretty well.
Yeah,
it's probably the brand.
I actually searched on this one a bit. Hey, Commander, I found a couple of YouTube videos that, people have the same problem, and even in some of the reviews they talked about that the click buttons, the switches wear out. So I even found a couple of videos on how I can repair them. So I just need to order the replacement switches, and I still have the previous dead one they'll try to revive.
There you go. Now I can hear you.
Okay. Hi. Now it's a question of whether or not I can still, solder on parts that small.
Yeah, because I mean, things like a mouse shouldn't be going out in like a year. My current mouse, I've had it for 3 years now. And I'm playing
the first one of these. Sorry, go on.
And I'm playing games like Overwatch where there's a lot of clicking going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first one of these I had lasted almost 5 years. And then the second one only lasted 2 years, and this one I've only had about 1.5 years. So that's why I was wondering if they're just using a cheaper supplier for the switches than they did 10 years ago.
It's possible.
Hi.
Hello, Glenn.
My original mouse from my 1984 Mac Plus still works.
Wow.
Yeah, I definitely prefer a trackball a lot more than a mouse. Mostly it doesn't require the desk space, and the trackball I can just have on the arm of my chair, and it doesn't need any more space than that. Assuming a certain...
It's harder to control a trackball, though, depending on what you're trying to do. It's harder to control a trackball depending on what you're trying to do.
I've actually found the opposite. I have more trouble with a mouse, but...
Really?
Then again, with the Tourette's, my hand gets twitchy. So the trackball stays in one place, and as long as I can keep from pressing buttons, it doesn't do anything.
That makes sense. I would find it really hard to play a first-person shooter with a trackball, though. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, I don't play those kind of games, so I don't know how it'd be for that. What I would really like to have, especially like, when I'm trying to do, like editing pictures, I'd like to have something that had 2 separate scroll wheels, one for horizontal and one for vertical, so that I could move it one direction without affecting the other direction.
I did have a buttonless mouse that worked that way.
A buttonless mouse?
Yeah.
Oh, so it has a touchpad on the top of the mouse.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Apple had one of those for a while, didn't they? They had a touch mouse. So it was an actual mouse, but the touchpad was on top, and it let you do.
It worked very well.
Like zooming and things like that.
It worked very well. I had one.
I didn't like the one I had. It was too fiddly.
I don't get along with touchscreens in general. It's one of the reasons I still hate cell phones.
Hi, Doug.
Hi, Jenny. I've seen you for a while. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
There's a reason for that.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, we've had 3 new people come in and haven't given any of you a chance to introduce yourselves yet. So, Commander, you want to say anything to the audience?
How you doing? Just got back from Ohio, and oh boy, this is not a pun. I'm tired. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I've worked about 14 hours already.
Oh.
Yikes.
They keep you on the road quite a lot, huh?
Usually, some days I get a good span of time off. Some days, and then some weeks I have more work than others. But the more work you get, the more money you get, and it's like you have the money, you don't have the time. You have the time, you don't have the money.
I had some good news today. I'd like to share.
Yeah.
Today I got a new Twitter account, so I'm back on Twitter.
Nice.
Hooray!
Keep it on the down low. Keep it on the down low.
And I have no idea why it happened. It's completely confusing. The other account is still banned. It's still sitting there. but when you're banned, you can still go onto Twitter and read stuff. You just can't interact at all. And so there's not much point to really going on it. So when I went to go on it and see what I could read today, it said, "Oh, there's an update available." So I said, "Okay, let's do an update." So I pushed the button to update, and it does. And then when it launches into this account that I don't ever recall setting up. But there it is with my name and all my information, and I was able. It thought it was brand new, and so it was making me recreate everything as far as name and location and security and all that kind of stuff.
I had wondered about that because
I was able to just fill it out however I wanted. So I have a new password and I recorded it. It's written down and all this kind of stuff, and it's empty. There was zero followers or anything like that. I used to have 2,000 followers, and so it's all gone. But I'm back. Oh, I'm so happy.
Well,
yeah, that makes things a lot easier. Hey, Dick.
That's a scary thing about technology today. If you bought a new phone and you fire it up, and you're getting all these old accounts that you used to have. Just goes to show how long they've been, following you and watching you. Is this you? Is this you? Is this you? And it's asking it on these accounts. It's just crazy how many Twitter accounts I've had to renew. I've got so many email addresses just for Twitter, because that's how you get a new account. You just change set up a new email account. Really, it's mad.
Have you ever had somebody call you up and get mad at you because you have a phone number somebody they knew had 5 years ago?
No.
I had that happen just a couple of weeks ago, and it had happened to me before too.
I would say that's some sort of scam.
No,
yeah, I don't answer my phone unless I know the number.
Did he try and sell you an acre on the moon, perhaps? Or a star?
The Eiffel Tower for scrap.
Well, I answered it. I answered it because it's a local number, and unfortunately, our clinic network is so big that I've got doctors calling me from a dozen different phone numbers that won't be identified when they call. So I assume that one of the doctor's offices calling back.
I suppose the way the population's gone, they could recycle phone numbers eventually. I would have thought.
They can.
They've
always recycled phone numbers.
Yep, and the FCC even has regulations on that in the U.S. that after a phone number's been inactive for 6 months, they can reassign it to a new account.
Yeah, my original phone number got reassigned.
That whole hello everybody. That whole reassigning phone numbers is a nightmare. I have somebody's old phone number that must have been theirs for 20 years, and it's been my phone number for 2.5 years, and I still get texts and calls from people for this person. Drives me crazy.
You should learn some history. Try to track them down and learn their history and then just pretend you're them and
I could, Jenny. She actually got a hold of me one day because she needed to get some kind of approval number from the text thing. And I was like, I've had this number for like 9 months, and all of a sudden you need like a weird permission thing. Like, I'm not sure I'm approving somebody for a scam. I can't do that. Blah, blah, blah. No, yeah, all kinds of expletives. But I was like, sorry, you got to prove to me you're that person or I'm not doing it. Thanks, Granny.
So did they prove?
No, not even close. But because I've had so many texts and calls for this person over time, I have thought back on it and thought, I kind of think that might have been the right person. But I still stand by the fact that I couldn't just authorize somebody to somebody's accounts blindly without knowing who they are. Because if it was somebody being a jerk and that had happened to me, that would have been horrific. You can't do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I moved 3 years ago, I had to get a number with a local area code. It was required because this building, the doorbell system wouldn't let people input area code, so I need a local area code. And when I got that number, I was getting so many calls from the previous owner that I actually had to put on the outgoing message, I have no idea who Joseph is. That was my outgoing message.
I've had my number for 12, 13 years, and I still get people calling it. And I think it's probably just wrong numbers, but I'm like 3 texts, and I'm like, I've never replied to them, and they still text, and I'm just like, could you not take a hint?
Part of the problem with that,
my phone number I had in 1959. That'd be fun to find out.
Part of the problem with that is, that with them companies selling personal information from old mailing lists and everything, so that they've got the name and the phone number on file from somebody that the previous person bought something from 15 years ago, but it's zombie stuff that keeps wandering around and there's no way to ever get it removed from these lists.
I've Googled my own phone number, and it turned out that they didn't even have me as the owner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not surprising, though.
The right area. They didn't have the right address. They had a close address, but everything was just off ever so slightly.
Well, you know what that means then, don't you? It means you get to go get yourself a MasterCard and run it up to $1,000 and not pay anything because they can't get a hold of you.
Good theory. I think you get in trouble for that.
No. I pissed through $13,000 on this move. I'm not interested in accumulating any more shit. So.
Oh, yeah. Commander, I know firsthand your journey, and holy shit. Yeah, enough's enough, right? Wow.
Oh, and there was some new shit, but unless the shit really hits the fan, I won't bother you with it. But it's legal shit that could be anywhere between $300,000 and $16,000. So
holy. Well, feel free to vent in the Shill's private chat. That's what it's for, right?
Boy, there's no way I could get this dog, but she is gorgeous.
Oh, okay. Let's see another candidate here.
Not a candidate, but it's just what I saw, and I just think it's just a gorgeous dog.
Oh, the dual eyes.
Heterochromatic.
Heterochromatic husky. Oh, I love that.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, I love the sled dogs. Yeah, the Malamutes and Huskies are my favorite.
Is it a male dog?
Double check. Oh, there it is.
They're
I think more like UPS, but
a friend of mine had a husky when I was younger, and I've never known a dog to be so in tune with a human's emotional state and how to react to it. It was amazing.
They're such talkers, though.
Are they? This one wasn't. Well, this is a long time ago, so I don't really have the memory capacity for it. But I just remember, she was, I don't know, it was grade 7 or whatever. And if she was sad, the puppy was right there. If she was happy, puppy was ready to play. I remember being amazed. The dog always knows exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Okay. The dog's name is April, and it's a female.
Oh.
Yeah, Huskies are known for being howlers.
If you have a heterochromatic husky, and they pee. You know, a male will pee with one side, and then maybe another time they'll pee to the other side. Then it comes out different colors.
Oh.
I don't think it works that way.
There's a dog similar to a husky, but it has
Malamute?
long hair.
The Malamute.
Yeah,
Malamute.
Yeah, my sister used to raise those.
Yeah, we had one when I was younger. They have the biggest, fluffiest feet you've ever seen. They're like Clydesdale dogs.
Oh, Malamutes are like twice the size of huskies.
Yeah.
reminds me of Smokey, but Smokey was a neighbor's dog that was in the hot Florida sun.
Oh, goodness.
They left a Malamute out.
Yeah,
that's
those dogs aren't made for hot weather.
No, that's the reason why I won't get a husky. It's just too hot here in Florida for one.
Yeah. Well, huskies are known for being howlers, and the worst thing is if you have a husky, and it turns out there's another husky 2 or 3 blocks away.
Oh God!
They will spend all night trying to talk to each other.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah.
I have a friend that lives in New York, and he's constantly posting pictures of his dog arguing with him. Like literally, he'll be like, "Go," and the dog will go, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." And, "No, I'm not listening to this." Rah, 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 rah. It's the funniest thing.
You were talking about the dogs, like, you know, a few blocks away and howling back and forth. I live halfway up the west side of the BC Rockies, right? So I'm in like a 30,000 person small town, very wilderness around us, right? And I have a pair of hunting owls that come into the bush behind my place, and one stays on one side, one stays on the other side, and they call back and forth to each other. I can just sit outside on a lawn chair, you know, drinking a beer, and it's like stereo owls. It's perfect. It sounds so amazing. I love it. And then because of where I live, I wake up in the morning, I open the blinds, I go to make coffee and start my son's breakfast, and there'll be a family of deer in the backyard eating and whatnot. And I mean, it's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, you know, I actually argue with my son Kanye the way you were arguing about that person arguing with their dog. And I'll argue back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, listening to the two owls go back and forth, you can tell they're talking. I just don't know what it is, you know.
It'd be fun if the bird had learned how to howl like the dog.
I've seen videos of birds that bark and meow.
I'm sure my bird would definitely try imitating that. He already almost barks as it is.
Magpies are good at that.
They're also good at being like assassin birds.
Also good at thieving.
Pooping season?
Yeah, good at thieving.
Well, you guys, you have fun. I'm going to go. Too. I need to go back to sleep. I've got work in 5 hours.
See you, Kitty.
Hi, Kitty.
Thanks for stopping.
Night, Kitty.
Bye. Thanks for checking in, letting us know how you're doing.
Yep. Have a good one.
And Jen, how is your health doing? I haven't heard you for a few weeks.
Yeah, I haven't been on for a few weeks. I haven't had the opportunity. And I'm home now, as you can see. Well, you can't really see that I'm home, but people know the background. Except the picture fell off the wall. I'm home now. I have to go back in June for some follow-ups, but I'm actually not doing too badly. I wouldn't say I was 100% yet, but not doing too badly.
Good.
So
Good.
Finally home is the good bit.
Yeah.
But it's probably like the phone chargers, you know, that it only takes you half an hour to get up to 50%, and then another half hour to get up to 75%. And then it takes you like 3 hours to get that last 10%.
Yeah.
That's if the battery is shit.
I'm moving on Monday. Got a new place.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, when I come out of hospital, I rented a place, a flat, and I bought a place now. I'm moving on Monday. And it's 2 bedrooms. So I'll probably be looking for a flatmate. So, because it's got a little garden as well. And I can't do the garden, well, unless it's wheelchair friendly. I can't really.
Well, I happen to know a good channel that can help you out with the gardening.
Well, yeah, there's a gardener that I've been recommended. He comes round, mows the lawn, and does a bit of weeding and that.
In fact, I was actually planning on doing a mobility garden video, showing you how somebody who's wheelchair bound or can't walk very well can still set up a garden.
I'll watch that, definitely.
I've seen ideas for that about them doing, raised beds and shallow boxes so somebody in a wheelchair could reach across.
Oh, I seem to manage. The NHS give me a lot of equipment. They give me a hospital bed and all sorts of crap. But gardening, pushing a lawnmower around, that's not gonna. But I heard I've seen online Amazon do one, but I don't know what they're like. It's like a lawnmower that you just send out and it just mows the lawn for you.
If they're anything like the ones from 10 years ago, they're shit.
Oh, I don't know. This one looks a bit like R2D2.
They've gotten better. I don't know how good they really are.
Well, if you do get it, send it out often, because if you let the grass grow too much, it'll be shit.
Yeah,
it's quite low on the floor. It's like them vacuums you get that just when you go out to leave the house.
The ones that go and get stuck in the corner.
Yeah,
Man, I got to change subject. The vacuum made me think of this. Did anybody see the video of the teacher whose school got caught up in the tornadoes out in California the other day?
No.
One of the kids, they're all fumbling around. It's LA. What do they know about tornadoes and how to evacuate or what to do with them? And so they're all kind of in a panic, running around. And this thing comes and it blows open the door and it sucks the teacher out. Whoa. And they got it on video.
Oh.
It was like, whoa, I've never seen that happen.
Yeah.
Did she survive?
Yeah, it actually ended up just carrying her a little ways and throwing her down.
I have heard of situations like that.
But yeah, she's okay.
I was actually in a tornado.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was like 10 years old, I actually got lifted off the ground by the winds, but I managed to grab onto the neighbor's fence.
Holy shit!
Yeah. I had a friend who, when I had a friend when he was young, a tornado hit his house and it blew out his window and he almost got sucked out the window, and his dad caught him beforehand.
Purple, you were lifted off the ground by a tornado. Has there ever been a scarier moment in your life that can compete with that?
Well, a couple instances with my ex, but that's another matter.
Yeah. These are the choices we make, tornadoes or not. There's a difference there.
Well, really, I've lived almost all of my life in Tornado Alley. Always right along the Great Lakes.
It makes you wonder, as human beings, like me, I'm Canadian, right? So imagine Northern Ontario, like Sudbury. If you know what I'm talking about, it's -40 in winter average, right? So you're a pilgrim or whatever, some idiot with a horse and cart and some buggies and some dried beef or whatever, and you're doing your thing. And you come across this place and you're like, yeah, this place is great. Let's homestead here. And then winter sets in. Why the fuck did you stay? What's your problem? Why would you do that?
Because all the effort you put in the spring and summer building the place and making a home for yourself.
That's not a bad answer, Jenny. That's not a bad answer.
There's a reason they're called settlers. This is why we have all the towns across the Midwest.
Because they just settled.
These are people who were trying to get to California, and the wagon broke down, and they're like, "This isn't what we wanted, but we'll settle for it."
Yeah.
And besides, what in those days when they're giving land away and stuff like that, what's the choice, being up there or Oklahoma?
Yeah. Well, there was a time in the late 90s, and I had taken a break from being a musician because we had a long, hard tour with some heroin addicts. It drove me crazy. I actually just told this story 2 hours ago to DKG Custom in a private chat, but I needed a real break, so I got a tech support job, and I was doing damn, I'm sorry, my doorbell is ringing like crazy. It's probably one of the neighborhood kids looking for my son. Hold on, I'll be right back. Fuck.
Yeah, well, I think, like you were saying, when they were giving land away, most people, it was just like the idea of actually owning land at the time was just such a big thing that if you came across a plot of land that, had enough stuff growing on it that you thought you could grow food there, that was great.
And let's be honest, their descendants must be grateful they weren't given Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
Florida is the slong of the United States.
But isn't it true you can get a driver's license at 15 in Florida? Because that is a slightly redeeming factor. Not for the adults with expensive cars, but for the kids.
Not that I'm aware of.
No?
Then they changed it. But when I lived there, it was 15, you could get a learner's permit, and 16, you could drive.
Oh, even still, you can't get a learner's permit at 15 in Canada. You got to be 16. So I get it. That's where it comes from.
Let me get this straight. In Florida, at 15, you could, maybe not now, but you could get behind the wheel of a four-wheeled killing machine.
Jen, it's worse than that.
Drive around, and apparently you're responsible enough to make that decision.
Jen, no! Jen!
But a 15-year-old trans kid isn't allowed to transition now.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
No, but it's even worse than that. In France, you can drive a motorized vehicle on the road at 14 as long as it has like a 600cc engine and is a tiny little box that literally will crumple as the crumple zone if you get hit by a transport truck. But that's fine. You're responsible enough at 14 to put that car on the road, but you can't choose anything else for your life. You can't vote. You can't do anything, but somehow you're responsible enough to be in possession of something that can take a life.
Okay, let's do something worse than that. It is allowable for parents to put firearms in the hands of their children, that sub-teenage children
in America.
In America. And yet some states think that children are responsible enough to identify as the gender they are.
Okay,
Actually,
some states you can marry from the age of 11 up.
Yep.
What was that, Purple?
There have been a couple of states recently that they have struck down bills that were trying to get pushed through that would have required someone to be at least 15 to own an AR-15 rifle.
Okay.
And those have been struck down in at least 4 states
Nobody
in the last year.
Nobody that doesn't fight for their country on a daily basis needs an AR-15. I'm sorry, but that's stupid.
Any semi or fully automatic weapon.
Agreed.
I grant if you're a farmer and you're trying to get vermin off your property, you might need a rifle.
Yeah.
Or
you don't need
agree with hunting, but perhaps if you're going to agree with hunting, you could have a hunter's permit.
You don't need a weapon with 5.56
that is
coming out of it.
Yeah. Jen and I, as Australian Canadian, have the exact same view on firearms. Country bumpkins and stuff that need rifles and shotguns and blah, blah, that's fine. But assault weapons and handguns have no position in the hands of the common person. That's it.
Absolutely.
Now, I keep saying that what the U.S. needs to do is we need to start out with, no one's talking about hunting rifles. Now can we discuss gun control?
Okay,
let people keep the bolt action hunting rifles, the things that you can only get off maybe 2 shots a minute, not a problem.
Okay,
you don't need automatic or semi-automatic rifles.
Well, automatics are illegal, period.
Well, they should be.
Depends what
Semis
state
aren't,
you're in.
though.
No,
Yeah.
they are illegal. Period. Automatic weapons are
You
not allowed
need
at
you
all.
need a really, really expensive license to have them.
Yes, but Americans can buy a tank and drive it.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
I
The
drove
trouble
past.
is with this, there's too many limp dildos that will stand up and say, "Oh no,
Yeah.
they're taking away my human rights to bear arms
I drove
against
past.
my God-given constitution." And shut the fuck up! You're all idiots.
I drove
I
past.
just want to know who these people think they are that they can go up to a bear and shave its legs naked.
I drove past the tank on my way back from the Humane Society, and looking at the Florida driver's permit requirements is be 15 to 17 years old, complete a 4-hour drug and alcohol course, pass vision and hearing tests, pass learning and permit test, provide the required documents. If you happen to be 18 or older, then you should go for a Class C driver's license.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Florida has
It's
Donald Trump in it, so
But apparently they're responsible enough to drive, you see.
Yeah, but my eldest brother has argued completely unironically that as long as the government can have tanks, he has the right to have anti-tank missiles.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And can I give you an idea exactly how responsible teenagers are in the state of Florida? For me to start driving a car at the age of 16, my insurance for driving my mom's 2002 Chevy, or was it the 2004? I mean, the 1994 Cavalier, or was it 2000? It was a Chevy Cavalier, and it would have been $400 a month because I'd have to pay for all the shitty drivers because I was young and I didn't have any history.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's always been that way. When I got my license in 1971, 70, I forget which. 1970, yeah. My parents' insurance went from their annual insurance cost was like $300 to $2,000.
Shit.
Okay, here's a shitty one for you on the insurance. That with transitioning from male to female, same policy, same company, my insurance rates go up.
I just
Really?
Shouldn't it depend on my driving record over the past 10 years rather than whether it's an M or an F on my certificate?
Well, here we have a thing called a no claims bonus. If you don't claim, you that reflects with inflation and whatnot and what they do charge, and
I had
you still pay a reduced rate.
I had a really weird insurance cost experience. I was with Progressive Insurance for a bunch of years, and when I hit 65, my insurance basically doubled plus. I was outraged. You know, I never made a claim.
Yeah.
I've never had a ticket. Okay, I've never caused an accident in 50 some years of driving. Okay, and they do that to my insurance, so I left them and I found another company, Safeco, who I went with that is significantly lower rates, lower than Progressive was before they screwed me.
Yeah, I'd leave that too. Boy, that's bullshit.
So now here I am. Actually, this month I decided I was going to shop around for insurance, see if I could get an even lower cost from somewhere. And I called one of these insurance broker places, and they found that Progressive would be cheaper than what I was paying before, even at my age. And it's like, how can that be? That, you know, they had my insurance so high then, and now I'm older even
Because
still,
it's fucked.
and it's lower. What?
Competition.
They do, the prices do change over time. I'm currently with Geico, but I actually left Geico for another company because they had their prices, and I'm back with Geico now because they are lower.
Yeah, you really have to recompare every year when you renew.
I moved from Virginia and my insurance went from about $60-something a month to about double that just because I moved to New York.
Now, what I found a really
New
weird
York
thing
City?
was,
Nope.
moving from rural Michigan, to a small city in Minnesota, my insurance rates actually went down a few dollars a month. And I don't get that. It should have gone up going to somewhere of a higher population density.
You would think.
In American insurance, do they still use that act of God clause, the insurers?
Oh, I'm
For
sure
hail and other things like that. Yeah.
Probably,
For
yeah.
homeowners insurance, especially.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If your house was struck, but because they don't do that here anymore.
Actually, when I think about it, I know they figure the zip code, you know, and like basically the number of accidents within a zip code. So that's probably why my rates went down, because the county I was living in Michigan was known for having the highest rate of alcoholism in the country.
But that's a big assumption, assuming that you're going to be an alcoholic just because there's a high rate there.
Well, they'd be assuming that.
No, but they're just saying, like, how many accidents per 10,000 cars on the road is what they're figuring.
Yeah.
Zip code is what they also use for redlining, to not give anybody insurance in a certain zip code because it's, say, predominantly black.
Yeah, that still goes on for them profiling.
Oh, racism in insurance. Yep.
I had that happen with my house insurance. That it was a changing neighborhood, and I had house insurance for, oh God, it was 10, 15 years. And all of a sudden they dropped it and said, we are no longer offering home insurance in your area. And so, what? And I checked into it, and the lily white zip code next door, which was literally about 3 blocks away, they were getting insurance, you know. But everybody on my side of the river, fuck you.
You know, Jenny, when I was younger, I was like, I don't know, 19. I bought a Triumph TR7 convertible that I had for a little while, right? And when I called up to get insurance on that thing, it was astronomical because, you know, I lived in a part of Hamilton, Ontario that's usually on fire. You know what I mean, right? That kind of crap. And, you know, so I got a hold of my dad and I was like, holy, you know, like, what am I going to do here? And he was like, simple, call them back, but, you know, do it in a couple of days, you know, and tell them you live at our address, you know, home. Right. So I waited a few days, called a different company, because in Ontario, unlike British Columbia, you have choice. Right here, it's all provincial in government insurance, which is lovely. Don't get me on that topic. But I called State Farm or whatever it was in Southern Ontario, and I gave them my parents' address instead. And it went from like 3/4 of the value of the car to like a few $100. You know, it was ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what I did because I wanted my car, right? You know, but I learned a valuable lesson then. Your address affects insurance and other financial motivated type things in a big way to certain people.
If we're going to talk insurance, we should probably talk about the worst state of insurance for our friends in America, and that's health. Because for like Dick, Dog, and myself, I mean, we don't have the same worries about health as you guys do.
Not even close. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I wanted to go and buy a health policy right now, as a single person, it would cost me over $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Ow. See, my private health insurance, which doesn't cover me for everything, but everything it doesn't cover me for is covered by under our national health policies. So my private health costs me just under $100, or just over $100 a month, and that covers me for all ancillary type stuff. Like I've got a $1,000 bill there for a ambulance.
Yeah, but John, we still have the same rip-off merchants that supply the national health services that we have. For instance, I'm not going to lie, I'm back in diapers. I'm incontinent now. I've got no control of my bowel or bladder. But it's a packer of nappies, to be fair. And if you look at a pack of baby nappies, it's the same, exactly the same stuff, the same material. In a shop, you look at £5 for say 40 of them.
Yeah.
If I wanted a pack of 15, it's going to cost me £30.
Holy shit!
Because it's classed as a medical, like a wheelchair, for instance. They charge
wheelchairs are expensive.
But they're not, are they? It's 4 wheels and a bit of a frame. There's more goes onto a pedal bike than does a wheelchair. But they charge thousands and thousands of pounds for these ones. And
really, the last time I bought a wheelchair for my mum, I paid $350, I think it was.
Yeah, you can get them, but if you want a decent self-propelled,
self-propelled, and at the time I bought it, it was reasonably light one as well. I mean, it wouldn't cap mustard now, but at the time I bought it, it did.
But they charge adaptations for your wheelchair, for example. For my wheelchair,
they're expensive.
If I want to buy an electric adaptation, which is like it turns it into like a trike, and it's like an electric wheel, and they'll charge £5,000-6,000 for that, and it's basically. I'm thinking, well, how can you charge that much? And it's classed as a medical device, so it's.
Yeah, it kind of blows my mind, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, a good example of differences in costs is, of course, like hospital stays. I mean, I spent 5 weeks in hospital recently, as most of you already know. And I've had no bill. I will get no bill for that entire time I was in there, for the operations I had, even for getting the pacemaker and the sensor thing for the pacemaker. Now, I know Jenny needs a pacemaker as well. And it's not a viable option for you because of the expense. And that is ridiculous. Healthcare should never come down to an expense.
I've said this.
On Medicare, my cost for a defibrillator would be $6,000.
That's ridiculous. I've said this. I bet everybody here will agree, but a healthy populace contributes in all ways, and as such, everyone benefits. And in light of that, healthcare should be an absolute God-given fucking right in your country through the taxpayers. You know,
it is, Dick, everywhere but America.
Yeah, I don't understand America's thing for that, because America's all about we've got the power and everything. I don't mean to be so simplistic about it. Don't take offense or anything, but you know what I mean, right? You know,
Dick, it's even worse than you could ever describe or harass us about.
Yeah, there's a lot of people with disabilities who might be able to work like half time if they could get the medical care they needed.
Dude,
instead they can't work at all.
Stephen Hawking would have had nothing to offer the world if he had been born in America. That's a sad place to be.
That's true.
He'd have been dead. Not just nothing to offer, he would have been dead.
I was trying to say it nice, but yes, Jen, you're not wrong. He never would have survived.
It's absolutely true.
People die every day. Through all the things I had, which included a PET scan, an MRI, a heap of X-rays, ultrasounds, 3 operations, and 5 weeks in hospital. 5 and a little bit weeks in hospital, actually. In the end. If that had happened to somebody in America, even with health insurance, they probably would have ended up bankrupt.
Oh, you'd have to sell your Lamborghini if you had one.
If you had one, yeah.
Dick, it's absolutely well known and absolutely true that people die every day in this country because of lack of insurance.
Yeah, that's a sad fact. It really is. Well, even here, we have our limitations, you know, after a certain age. There's certain.
Yeah, but you guys, Doc, are you in the UK?
Yeah, I'm in the UK. I've just spent almost 7 months in hospital. Didn't cost me a penny.
The one thing that UK does better than Canada is we do not include any dental in this universal health care we have up here.
Yeah, we do.
Dentals and glasses aren't included in ours, and a couple of other things.
I do not understand that. That is just insane.
How can you have we'll take care of you government approach? Oh, we don't give a shit if you can eat, never mind. Or, can you see? No. Oh, well, whatever. Get a job anyway. But here, if you have cancer, we'll fix you right up. I mean, it's kind of a fucked up thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true here too, Dick. That's true here as well.
As I say, the National Health Service, it's an institution now, and it relies on government funding, obviously. But as I was saying, 2017, before I had my stroke, I smashed my shoulder up, and just before I was 50, I wouldn't, if I'd have reached 50, they wouldn't have given me the surgery to repair it. They would have just strapped it up like a broken shoulder and left it to heal itself. So there's limitations to what they will do. There's an age gap of surgeries where you'll fall under, where you won't get the surgery because you're not viable for it.
We got that here too. If you're like, kind of old and decrepit and you're a smoker and a drinker and blah, blah, you're not going to be on the top of the list for kidney surgery. But if it comes your way, you're still getting it, but they do that kind of thing. And I'm not sure I can fault them for that. I mean, but I don't know, that's a tough, I don't want to open that can of worms because I don't think I have an answer for it. So I'll just politely move on and pass it back to Purple.
It is all about the money in America. That's all it is. It's all money.
Dick, the reason I've thought a lot about this, and the reason I think we have that sort of thing, and some other features that are just absolutely inhuman about America, is we have a population that has lived by certain I don't know, mottos, attitudinal mottos and things like that. Like the big one in this case would be, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Which, and by the way, if you look back into pulling yourself up by bootstraps, where it came from, it goes all the way back to England and was used as a way to describe that you can't do something because you can't pull up your own bootstraps. So it gets misused and it's destroyed an entire country's culture, and that applies to so many different things in America, like unemployment insurance, health insurance, housing, taking care of the homeless people, homeless veterans. Everybody says, well, they should be able to take care of themselves, and it's like,
I really think you hit the nail on the head there, Jenny. For me, it all goes back to the end of World War II and the white picket fence version of the American dream. We don't need to help anybody. Everybody's capable on their own.
Yeah, and it's just not true. It's like retirement. They're starting to talk here that they want to push retirement age to 70 years old to retire. Are you kidding? If you've got a blue collar job, you're building skyscrapers, or you're working in construction on the roads in the dead of winter for all your life, or even working on an assembly line where you're pushing around hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
And your body wears out by the time it hits 50, 60. And now they want to push retirement 10 years beyond that? Are you kidding?
There's no way you can do that. Even with the office sector and stuff, we have such brutal posture and health things going on with these people that just sit there all day. There's no way they're going to last through that either. That's ridiculous.
The reason I'm on I'm over retirement age, so I would be anyways. But I had to start my retirement at 62. Like almost 10 years before I wanted to. I have that option that I could go longer if I wanted to. the benefit being that you get more money when you start, if you wait longer. But anyways, I had to go on retirement because my body had just given out. It was done. Blue collar worked for 40 years, and it said, no way, you're just not going to do this anymore. You can't even stand up, and I'm going to show you how. And it's just, your life falls apart. But you have to retire, and then you get this horrible, rotten income and this horrible Medicare. People talk about, we want Medicare for all. Medicare is no better than any bad quality insurance policy. You have 20%, you have deductibles, and you have to pay for it. People don't get Medicare for free. They have to pay for it.
How does somebody on like some kind of tight, restricted, retirement income deal with all of the facets of getting old in the modern world without actual support? And, when you factor in that you paid as an employed person all your life out to your government, that you can't even get a little bit of help with a health thing now and then, like, it's a really nasty deal. It really is.
Diana's a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring that up, Purple. The whole situation with Diana is disgusting in every way as a Canadian. I can't believe that's just simply allowed. Wow.
Yeah.
They want you to be strong like bull, like ox, like bear, and you only realize your true strength when you're fighting to survive.
It's nasty shit, man. Diana was talking to me about, hey, I might have to get you to, sign a paper for me or this and that and blah, blah, so I can, try to get up to Canada and whatnot. And I was like, yeah, sure. Let me know,
Yeah.
I'm
Jenny
not,
was trying to get in there.
yeah.
When I started my retirement, this is only, how long ago? 6 years ago. My pay for my monthly retirement was $1,200 a month. Try to live on it.
Wow, that was so much lower when the pandemic hit. I used all my psychological stuff and to get on disability so that I didn't starve. And the disability, mine was about $1,700 a month after they took out the Medicare.
If I would have qualified for disability, mine would have gone up that much too. But the fact that I couldn't walk, that I couldn't lift more than 10 pounds, the fact that my knees didn't work, or hips didn't work, the fact that I had a heart attack and dying of congestive heart failure, I didn't qualify for disability.
Well,
what do you like to garden, Jenny?
Huh?
Jenny,
What do you like to garden?
Amy,
I've got a spare room here. As of Monday, I'll have a spare room. You can come here, have your surgery for free, as long as you can be good at gardening. I'm making cups of tea, of course.
Yeah, I've had offers for Toronto and stuff. I'll be taking it up there.
You'd have to. The whole thing with disability and whatnot in the Americas or in America is very strange. Amy Hogan on the Shills, she has she has a benign brain tumor, and she is single-handedly raising a teenage kid on the autism spectrum. Every year, she has to go through this rigmarole to prove that they're still deserving of being on the disability program.
Yep.
What two things in life do you think can you think of that would be long-term, I shouldn't have to prove this to you anymore? Would they be A, autism, and B, a brain tumor? Because I think they're really good answers. And she goes through that every year. Like, my son is on the autism spectrum. When he was 3 years old, we took him in and we saw a pediatrician specialist, and he was diagnosed as on the autism spectrum, and he gets funding because of that. And every year it kicks in. All I have to do is go onto a website and go, yep, he's still my son. He's still alive. Boom, the funding kicks in, right? And it won't change until he's 18 and he's an adult, and then he can get the disability plan as an adult. But I've never once had to reprove to anyone he is autistic because it was already done. And yet she has to do it every year for her son.
Yeah.
How is that? Like, who is the idiot that thought that is a regular, like that makes sense to me. Put it into policy. You know, who?
I think it was.
You get
Ronald
weird
Reagan.
things like that in Australia,
whoa.
and I know in the UK,
One
in
at
the
a time.
UK as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Too many
The
people
base-
talking at once.
The base assumption that they make for people applying for disability here in America is you are lying,
yeah.
that you're trying to get free money. Okay?
Wow.
Everybody thinks that if you're looking to get welfare, housing assistance or assistance for a pregnant mom and small children, that you're either lying about it or you have manufactured extra babies so you get extra money.
Whoa.
Well, I'm on a disability. It's not for one thing, but it's basically accumulation of various things over the years. And they had to recertify me 2 years ago. And among the proofs I needed, I had to get a letter signed by my doctor saying that my 3 fingers I caught in the power saw had not grown back.
What? I'm sorry. I know that's. Can you say that again? Just because I don't want to have to rewind the video, and but you had to get a piece of paper that said
that I'm still missing 3 fingers from an accident I had
Couldn't
9
they
years
just-
ago.
Couldn't they just determine that you're not a salamander?
The only reason why it was easy for me was I was on it as from like the 18 to 22, and I got off of it.
Yeah. You get dragged into court to make sure that you're viable for disability. Well, I'm sorry, Your Honor, but the human race hasn't figured out how to regrow digits yet. So, here I am.
America, your fingers won't grow back.
Yeah, we get weird ones like that over here too. Australia's support for disabled people is pretty crap as well. There was a case in South Australia where our Centrelink, which is the government agency for pensions and things like that, declared that this guy who was in his mid-50s who'd had an accident and was a paraplegic, was basically bedridden,
Wow.
was eligible to work 12 hours a week.
What?
Yep. And how?
What?
Come on,
me,
he's
I'm-
bedridden. How is he working 12 hours a week?
I'm paraplegic, I'm bedridden, but I still have to get a doctor's note to say I am.
Yeah.
That's
but it's something that should only be done once, basically.
That kind of stuff screams justification of government employment and just paper pushing for the sake of doing it.
There's that, but there's also the fact that governments just basically, our government, a bit like the US's, think that
they're
people
treating
lie.
you like liars.
They do. Yep. And they know that the stats say that very few people try to actually rot the system when it comes to disabilities. But disability people always lie, apparently.
Yeah. And Jur in the chat, somewhat hopefully, I do believe, is saying, but if you're bedridden, you could still be a sex worker.
Just lie there and don't move for me.
To be fair, if that was me, the person who'd want to pay for me would have to be a serious sex head fetish monster because... it's a minefield down there. It's like Buckaroo. I don't know whether I'm going to shit myself, piss myself. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going on. And my ding dong don't work. I'm actually on. They put me on the highest dose of ED pills to see if I get anything out of it.
Yeah.
And if it go any higher, my heart will explode.
Yeah.
But
well, a friend of mine.
Well, the next thing up is an implant, and I don't want an implant. I'd abuse the shit out of that. Imagine me blowing that up every night for sex. That'd be like the PSI of a lorry tire on it, a truck tire.
Because the whole new meaning's pumping yourself up, dog.
Yeah.
You were saying there, Purple?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I will be in a minute, love. Here we go. Yeah. Great foreplay, isn't it? Play with my pump.
When a friend of mine was applying for disability,
and then there's all the biases.
Had actually. Go ahead, Jenny.
Yeah, Beck, you're right. Ivana did have female genitalia.
Then there's also all the biases that go on within health insurance, other than just the you're trying to lie and cheat and steal. People who are poor are going to be more likely to commit graft and all that kind of stuff, and in Social Security land, that they're talking about cutting and raising the retirement age. There are other ways to fix it. Okay, there is it definitely has to be adjusted. It hasn't been adjusted for inflation for 30 years. But to do it in Social Security, everybody pays Social Security, even rich people. But once you have paid $150,000 worth of your gross income and siphoned off some of that for Social Security, after that you don't have to pay anymore. So if you get paid $1 million, you got $850,000 that you have not had to pay any insurance, any Social Security tax on. If you earn $1 billion, it's still $150,000. Okay, and so these people are getting quite a deal, and they can even collect Social Security when they retire if you're a billionaire, and they do because I deserve it. It's. All they have to do to fix Social Security, and it was actually proposed in this last round, but they have quickly discounted it, is raise it from $150,000 to $400,000, and it would make Social Security viable for the next 100 years. But they don't want to do that to the rich guys, so they don't. And so we have to work till we're 70 now because the rich guys are too fucking cheap.
Yep.
In the late 50s, my grandfather had to give 30 grand to the federal government and state government. My mom said he didn't bitch because he was grateful because he knew what it was like not to have stuff.
Hey, Beck, I didn't notice you come in. Hi, Beck.
Dude.
Hey, Beck, how's your recovery going? For those who don't know, Beck was able to get his top surgery.
Oh,
no
cool.
shit.
Congrats.
Yeah. I didn't know. Right on.
Cause for celebration.
Yeah.
It apparently went very well, too.
Excuse me.
Good.
Oh, and unemployment was finally approved, which is good. So, well, hey, Beck, fundraiser, speaking of, if that ever comes down to it and you need to do one, we did one recently on the shills for somebody who is like a moderator on the channel and whatnot, but, was damn near homeless. And we picked up $3,000 American inside of 2 streams in a week. So, as a former shill, I'm pretty sure we could help if need be. Let us know.
Beck, can I ask one question for clarification? You said you get to keep my nipples. That means like on your body, not turned into like fridge magnets.
You wouldn't be able to stop squeaking in your fridge.
Now, but hold on. If they are fridge magnets, how much for one? I mean, you know.
A doorbell would be nice. Ding dong.
Now someone's gonna make 3D printed fridge magnets shaped like nipples.
Well,
Yeah.
think about
I'm
it.
sure there would be nipple fridge magnets.
Well, think about it. You can glue them. You can glue some other magnets on into your chest, and then you can have detachable nipples.
Well, that's great, Beck. I looked at your last line here. That's
Yeah.
what's important. You're gonna do well. Good for you.
Yeah. You know, that means that you can still enjoy a good old tongue tickle on the right evening, Beck. So you're you're shooting 100. You know, that rocket is flying right your way.
That's neat. That's neat. I never
Come
thought
on,
I'd
it's
come
a
to the
good
point in my life
thought.
where I'd be rooting for somebody to have their breasts removed. It's kind of it just doesn't make sense to me.
No, but it's rooting for somebody that can fulfill their desire to be themselves. It's not about.
Yeah.
I know, Dick. It's just as a trans woman, it's the opposite, and you know.
I know. I get it. It must be one of those things. You're getting rid of what I want.
Yeah, well,
I get it.
Beck and I have been saying all along. That we just needed to get a good surgeon to get us both on the tables at the same time and just transplant the parts across.
Yeah, just trade shit around, man.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Beck.
Hello.
Good to hear from you.
Well, so I'm just gonna, Perps gave me a link, and I thought, well, if anybody's got questions, I'll just come in. But if you guys want a short recap, I can do that.
Sure.
If you're interested.
I think that'd be good. Yeah.
Okay,
Before you do that,
so
Perps,
yeah,
I found it. The nipple magnets.
did you really?
I did.
Beck.
Oh my
Beck.
god!
There's a picture.
If
Beck,
I didn't
bring
have
that
my
mic in
nipples,
just
I would
1 inch
totally
closer.
Make that into a joke. I would totally do that.
I think Dick living in
attach
Canada
them to me
and
with
using
glue.
his earmuffs.
Okay, but if you've got the nipples on your fridge, when you open the
You'll
freezer
tweak them
door,
every
is it
time you
going to
walk
get
past.
longer?
No, you just get to change the expression colder than a refrigerator's tits.
I honestly would go for a neodymium magnets on the back of them and take the door handle off the fridge. So anytime anybody wants to open the fridge, they have to pull the nipples.
Why not just do a penis on the handle and
Yeah, you have a
nipples
dick.
to close? You have to push the nipple to close it. That's better.
No, you put that on the
actually,
lower
Dick,
freezer. You know, you have a fridge that has a lower freezer, and the penis is the lower freezer.
Yeah,
and
but
got
then you'll
nipples
trip
at the top
on
of
it.
The top, and if somebody comes in and queries it, you go, "It's a trans fridge that hasn't had the bottom surgery yet." Or,
but you'll trip on it then, Jen.
oh yeah, you might. Yeah, or the dog can chew it off as well.
If it was mine, you'd trip on it.
The pictures there in my sharing perp, if you want to put it up. They're kind of cute because they've got eyes.
Oh my god, that's a fridge magnet?
That's a fridge magnet.
Oh man. Jesus Christ.
I went out with a girl who had boobs like that.
Well, those have less scarring. Those have less scarring than I will, so that's pretty good.
Those are pretty real looking. Damn.
I really don't want the googly eyes on them, but
Yeah, no.
I guess they had to do something to keep people from thinking it was an actual breast and somebody was a psycho killer.
Hey, my
I
eyes
can
are
understand them. I can understand them developing eyes since guys are staring at them all their lives. They want to stare back.
Good
Yeah.
point.
You can no longer say my eyes are up here.
Yeah.
They are really, actually, those are very realistic. Makes you wonder if trans guys that can't. Okay, so just so you guys know, it is not common for a trans guy to be able to keep his nipples. They usually do not survive. That's what the breast surgeon told me. And she's been doing it for 41 years, so I'm going to believe her. 37 years of doing, like, working with plastic surgeons doing it.
Isn't that because they actually I have to be removed for the surgery as opposed to moved over, like they can do
Yeah.
in some things.
Right.
Yeah,
so
'cause
they
it's a much more
literally
radical surgery than a breast reduction. So
yeah, so they cut around the outside of the nipple.
yeah,
And then they cut down and do like a smiley face, right? And then they set the nipple aside, they move everything, and then they place the nipple back in there.
Yeah,
And
so
when she
blood
did
supply.
that, right, that's the problem. And when she does that, because well, I was really lucky, and my areolas were not very big, so she didn't have to cut much off of mine. And mine look really good, like the size
what about
they
your
are.
sensitivity back?
Oh, I'll get there in a second. So they pull the nipples off. They set them aside. They cut the excess skin and everything off the side, and then once they figure out where they're going to place the nipples, they'll cut the excess off, and then they make they cut the skin to fit that nipple. And now they don't do stitches or anything anymore. They do glue, so that's nice.
Less scarring.
Yeah, it's to be way like a third of what the scarring used to be, or maybe even a sixth. It should be like a pretty thin line with this stuff. I've also been researching different kinds of scar cream and what the good stuff is. And I have an appointment tomorrow with my surgeon for a follow-up. They're going to remove the last 2 drains. She's extra careful. She puts in 4 instead of 2.
Beth, ask her about the silicone pads.
That's absolutely what I was going to ask her about. Yes, there's silicone scar healing strips, and you leave them on for 24 hours, and it locks in the moisture, which is one of the keys to healing. The scars get too dry, and that's why everybody used to recommend vitamin E oil. But vitamin E is not the way to go. It is actually silicone based gel, and it seeps in, but it kind of forms a barrier, so the moisture stays in that scar for that 24 hours.
Oh no, I was
they gave me something different for
and they have strips. Yeah, they have
because
strips and gel.
Because I can't have any silicone added to me at all after the sarcoidosis and everything, so it's too dangerous. So they use something different.
I was referring to a silicone pad when they had to take a skin graft off of my belly below the navel, and to prevent that from scarring, they gave me these pads where they're like 4x4, 5x5, something like that, and you lay them down on the skin, when everything's nice and clean. You have to change them. What was it, every 3 days, I think? And what it does is, because there's this perfectly smooth surface that the skin is going to be resting against and filling in with actual epithelial cells, it does it and patterns the silicone, so it's nice and smooth. It has no scar tissue whatsoever. You cannot tell I ever had a transplant or skin graft taken from that area. It's flawless.
Nice. Yeah. It's amazing what they have now.
Sure.
I know, right? No, actually, they just kind of flipped them over and left them in my body juices that were flowing out of me, I'm sure.
Beck doesn't know. Beck was asleep.
I don't know. I was asleep. Oh, so one of the things I want to tell you guys, and I told Purple about it, since Sloth Girl might go through God only knows what of hell in her future. They have a new thing. It's called a Q-on pain relief system, and it's a ball that is full of lidocaine, and they have put 2 little, well, because I had 2 incisions per incision, they put 1 little tiny hose. I mean, this hose is oh God, I don't even know if I can think of anything that skinny. It's about the size of a pencil lead, maybe just a hair bigger than that. So they put the hoses into you, and they go up, and then they put them into by your incisions. So when you first leave the hospital, you don't have any pain at all. It's totally just lidocaine, and it's only supposed to last for like 2.5 days. And mine actually lasted for 4 because I don't have huge incisions. But man, let me tell you, it was beautiful to be numb, to go home numb when everything wore off of me. So, and if you guys want to laugh sometime, I'll send Purple the video I did on the way home from. I was fucked up on drugs still. I was like, all right, everybody, I'm okay. Like, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I watched it 3 to 4 days later when I remembered I did it, and I laughed my ass off. So
how's your pain recovery been?
Oh, I only let's see. In the last 2 days, I have taken 1 Tylenol and I took half of a Vicodin because, which is all they gave me anyways. They just gave me 5 325s because I had gone out and drove for the first time yesterday, and I was very sore from using the wheel and everything. And
so
I
how
went to
long
lay
ago
down
was
at
the
night,
surgery?
and it hurt. 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow,
It's on the ninth.
you went
March
driving. I mean, considering what I had done was way less invasive than you.
Well, they said for the first 2 weeks that you shouldn't push or pull anything
Yeah.
over 8 pounds. Let me tell you, good luck 8 pounds. 8 pounds is a lot when you first come out of surgery. But they give you, exercises. You have to do like the itsy bitsy spider up the wall. Yeah, it's literally what they call it, the itsy bitsy spider. So you just walk your hand up the wall.
Because you've got more problems if you have major scarring than having tissue that just doesn't move properly and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to stretch it out. And then she told me,
which can
that's
cause
not
muscle
even...
atrophy as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, she said the most important is actually like pulling your shoulders back and stretching the skin back that way.
Yeah.
Is the most,
That'd be
that's the
painful.
most stretch you can get. And right now, I'm sitting here right now, and my shoulders are back as far as they go, and I don't have any pain. So I've been doing that a lot.
Yeah, I was pretty much after they did the implant removal. I was and all the clean out. I was pretty much okay after 2 weeks. I probably could have driven, but I didn't need to for the 3 weeks, so I didn't drive for 3 weeks.
Did they do both sides?
Yeah.
The removal, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, they kind of have to because they can't put new ones back in me because of the sarcoidosis. Because my body will just attack anything that gets put in it, basically.
Okay. I get it.
So because of that, they can't put new ones back in. So it's pretty much a case of we have to take them both out, and that's fine. And that's why they're talking in June of doing reconstructive surgery because you tend to sag a bit more after you have implants taken out and things like that. Fortunately, my implants weren't too big, so that's a good thing from that perspective. Considering I didn't want them at all in the first place, it's really annoying. This is where you get talked into things by your then husband that you should.
Well, meet them halfway. You take one out and you put it in the other. So
I'm
far from a bear.
I'm still well endowed, and I don't have implants in me anymore. I have enough mass that they're talking about doing basically doing a breast lift and things like that. But to do a breast lift, that requires a similar sort of nipple thing to what you've had done back, because they do cut the material.
Oh yeah.
And my brain's like, do I need that? I'm over 50. I'm 50. 50-year-olds have saggy tits sometimes. And
Well,
I'm better off just putting up with having
you
slightly saggy
you got to
tits
remember
and
though. You got to remember though too is if they do a tuck and everything, they might actually pull out some excess tissue, and then the lack of weight will be so much better for your back, because I know your large breasts.
That's the bonus that I'm looking at. It's
yes,
like, I go and see them then.
Going down to like a large C. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I don't mind that. What I don't really want is all the done around the nipples and things like that, and losing sensation with risks to the nipples themselves.
Well, that's what I was going to tell you guys, because you guys, somebody said something about licking nipples or something tonight. I can't feel shit. As a matter of fact, 2 days ago, 2 days ago, I was sitting here and I was like, I went just to rub my chest because it's kind of sore, and if you rub it a little bit, it feels.
And it gets itchy when it's healing.
Yeah, the sides are getting itchy right now underneath my armpits. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, oh, it's my nipple. Because I can't feel them. They are totally, there's no sense. I gotta wait for the nerves to reconnect. Yeah, because they totally cut them off. So once the nerves start reconnecting, if it gets too bad, she said, let me know. We'll get you some gabapentin for the nerve pain. But yeah, I mean, that's, she actually told me, she said, she looked at me and was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "No, people just don't keep their nipples like that." She said they are perfect. Everything's good.
I'm going to be honest with you, Beck.
Wait, Jen, go.
Honest with you, since I've taken the implants out, I've had less problems with my back. So even just that amount of weight off has made a huge amount of difference to me. So I'm in two minds, because one of the things I was looking at doing was doing to even up and reduce a little bit of the things, was doing a bit of liposuction and fat transplanting for me to just give a little bit more fullness, and because I'm a little bit asymmetric. And they can
everybody is naturally.
Yes, I know, but I'm about a cup size asymmetric, which is a reasonable amount. So
that's a lot, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things about that would be if they did that, they could get that a lot closer, and I wouldn't have to have the big invasive surgery. And as long as my back's doing all right, they're happy to do it that way. So that's one of the things they're going to be looking at when I go back is, will they balance up?
Nice.
Because even just balancing me from side to side is actually worthwhile to help my back anyway. So
absolutely, all of it will help. My kid went through that, Jen. I mean, pre starting to transition, he was a G or double G or something huge. He literally weighed them one day because we were talking about. He's like, "Hold on," he went to the bathroom and he weighed them, and he came back out. He said, "Left 15, right 16 pounds."
Holy fuck!
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they took him down to a C cup, they removed 12 and 13 pounds of flesh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a D cup even after having the implants removed. So I'm like, I've still got plenty of mass.
Did you say?
I know you do. I've seen that shit.
Maybe that's how.
You've seen my tits. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Maybe that's how men should start thinking
these things are not tiny.
Okay.
Sorry,
Jenny
Jenny.
had
What?
a question there.
Maybe they should start getting men to understand that cup size is not how you compare breasts, but it's by weight, not volume.
Yeah,
there you go. It's weight. Yes, it's weight, not volume. Absolutely.
Oh, and I guess we have a new title for you, Beck. Beck with the perfect nipples.
Oh, is that my new title? I mean, they're not perfect. The left one is a little bit off, I can tell, but it is what it is.
The left one they put on my
no one's symmetrical, Beck. We've already had this discussion.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. If all else fails, I'll claim that. Absolutely. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's
my left
thing
nipple be. If anybody's staring that hard at my fucking nipples, then if somebody's staring that hard at my nipples that they go, "Oh, your left one's a little bit farther in," then fuck them. What are you staring at my nipples for? You better be like on the bed ready.
Hey Jen, for you with the removal of the implants, wouldn't it just be easier now if you just detransitioned?
I'd have to go through what Beck went through to get rid of these.
No. I tell you what, it is a weight off of your chest.
To be fair, I quite like the weight on my chest. What I don't like is what it was doing to my back. But as I said, just having the implants out has made a big difference to that. So
I got up this morning, Jen. This is so funny. I gotta tell you before I forget. I got up this morning and I have to wear at least a shirt or something because I have to attach the drains to them. So they're they're safety pinned to my shirt, right? So I got up in the morning and my landlord knocked on the door, and I was like, for just a second, I was like, I don't have a binder on. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't have to fucking do that anymore.
You know what
and
the
the
worst
two
thing
I
about
have,
having
I'm going to tell you.
removed?
I've
had to wear a bra basically non-stop for the last 3 weeks. That's the worst thing. I want to take my bra off, but I'm not supposed to. I have to sleep in it. I have to. I can take it off to change into another one, but keeping the bra on all the time is just driving me insane.
Oh, I would hate.
Well, it's really good to remove
terrible.
It's really good to remove your bra anyways because your breast muscles basically just get so weak that's why when women should not be sagging severely, they are because they keep the bra on all the time. It's actually good when you get home from work, take that fucking thing off anybody here listening to me that's under 30, listen. Take the fucking thing off and let your muscles activate, and you will not be as saggy when you're old. This whole thing with men trying to like lift up women's bosoms in bras and hold them back with wires and plastic and whatever else is
underwire bras
literally
are
ruining
evil.
the muscle behind the breast. So that's what's wrong.
Underwire bras were obviously invented by a fucking man, because no woman in their right mind would ever put a fucking wire under their boob by choice.
And tiny stiletto heels, also invented by a man.
Exactly.
There was a study
also invented by a man.
There was a study that does confirm what you were saying about how bras and reducing muscle will making the breast sag more.
Also, Aunt Ju has sports bras like the one I'm wearing, which have a zip up the front. So there you go. You can zip it and unzip it.
Not on camera now. Come on.
Nothing wrong with that.
I prefer a front closed bra because I just can't reach behind myself anymore. My shoulders and stuff aren't flexible enough.
I mean, at least they allowed me to wear sports bras over the time frame rather than actual bras, because if I'd had to wear full on bra for 3 weeks, I would have gone insane.
Well, the bras with those tiny hooks in the middle of your back, I don't understand how most women can do those. I mean, I know I'm a lot more flexible than most people my age.
I can tell you what, I can undo it with one flick.
Yeah, well, when I was young, it was easy. But you're getting old and flexibility matters.
Okay, I don't understand why anyone would think that you have to clip the bra up behind your back when you can undo it up at the front and then turn the bra around.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had a friend when I was a teenager who said, I don't understand that, and I was like, what? And she said, why are you doing that? And I said, what do you mean? And she attached it and spun it around and put her arms through it, and I said, son of a bitch.
How do you not know that this is easier? Didn't your mother?
My mom did it that way, and my sisters did it that way, so I did it that way.
Now, see, that's a prime example.
Very, very talented at it, and my mom. I saw her a couple times. She just whipped in back and boom, done in 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's how my mom was. I mean, at 40 some odd years old before she died, she still and she was overweight. She was always a big lady, and she would just reach back there and fucking do it.
Yeah, screw that.
But see, that's
way harder than doing it up at the front and turning it around.
That's the problem I'm having right now, is that I need someone to teach me all these things that most girls learn when they're teenagers.
Nobody teaches that.
There you go, Perp. You've just learnt one. If you struggle to do up your bra behind your back, do it up at the front and then turn the bra around.
See, but no, Purple is right, because when you grow up at anybody that has done this knows, you grow up as a female, you're around your mom or your sisters, and people change in front of you, and you see them put on things certain ways, and then you just mimic it because you're a little kid. It's just like your mom shampooing your head, and then one day you're like, Mom, I can do it. It's the same.
I mean, to be fair, I learned how to
there's
put my
no
bra
lesson
on from my
needed.
mom.
It's just it's just everyday life. It's not a lesson necessarily. It's just
or
what
vagina
you
envy. Girls don't suffer from vagina envy like men do. Penis envy. A girl wouldn't
there's
say,
no vagina envy. No, women don't do that.
Look at their vagina; it's huge. Girls wouldn't do that.
Although women will say, "Go ahead, Jerry."
You're wrong. There is something. There is such a thing as vagina envy, except it's men who envy a vagina that hasn't been used much because they think it stretches out and gets all loose and stuff.
Yeah, they're so stupid. It's just how
that's
built, you dumbasses.
Okay, I can testify that is bullshit, but doing Kegels does work. One of my exes had 3 kids, but she did Kegels on a regular basis. You would never tell.
What's Kegels? Yeah. Is that a pelvic floor?
Pelvic floor exercise. Yes.
I have no.
Actually, you guys who, sorry, dog. You guys who still have a pelvic floor, you should do the exercises as well, because it'll keep you from becoming as incontinent as quickly when you get older. and that it also
And a
helps
tip
women
for-
in that
a
regard.
tip for all the other ladies
So
out there,
everybody should do it.
If
Huh?
you learn to do your pelvic floor exercises right, you can basically masturbate yourself by doing them.
Yes, I'm doing them right now. I'm
Yeah.
going to get off in 5, 4, 3. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, dog, the Kegel exercises. Okay, think of your muscles that are in control of your butthole, and those muscles that you can use to get a woody and then bounce it up and down and stuff.
Yeah,
those are all
self
the groups of
and
muscles.
things like that.
Those are all the groups of muscles that you have to learn with the Kegel exercises, and it's strength.
I don't remember that scene in Toy Story.
Yeah, yeah, we know that as a pelvic floor, but yeah, mine's gone now. Flown away forever.
Went on
I
holiday.
mean,
to
obviously,
Barbados.
if you're incontinent, yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
You know, and Jers comment in the chat, I have to sleep in a bra because they get in the way every time I change positions. I would have to rearrange my boobs so they're not pinchy. That happens to an old man's nutsack as well, as you flail from side to side as you get older. You have to reposition that shit. Otherwise, they literally start getting caught between your fucking knees. Just to,
Jared, well, that was one of the early things that I experienced when I was going through second puberty. That I realized how real the path that I was on was going. It was one of those good.
Dick, imagine being
things.
on a hot day, and you're getting a bit extra moist down there, and not from arousal, and you find that your lips get stuck together, and then you've got to figure out a way that you can spread them apart without drawing attention to yourself.
I once had a conversation with a girlfriend in my early 20s about how inconvenient it is that God, quote unquote, put the whole, cock and balls on the outside to be kicked and, always in the way. Yeah. And she was like, really? You want me to fucking tell you? And wow, did I hear it. But, I got an appreciation for it. No worries.
Okay, Dick, if that is being too big of a problem for you, they can surgically remove them.
Yeah, but I'm only in my 50s. I could still use them for a little while. I'll let you know when I'm done. Somebody else can have them.
Hold on, Dick. Now hold on a second. All that is just excess skin. You can get a testicular lift. I guarantee you. With all of the male plastic surgeons out there, someone would cut the excess skin off for you.
Yeah, but dude, you know me, right? I'm not the type. But Beck, I did want to ask you earlier when you were talking about transition effects and whatnot. I wanted to know, as somebody who's like kind of been a more smaller town person and whatnot, and very much like an 80s rocker. So, your community wasn't a situation that I was very much aware of until like my YouTube days and stuff. So, during your transition so far, you've lived in the same area as far as I know. And as such, how have the regulars in the community, at the bank, at the coffee shop, and so on, how has the reaction been to you?
Okay, it's literally been this. Everywhere. It's been, oh, really? Good for you.
Really?
Yep.
Honestly, Dick, that's what the average person is about trans people.
I swear to God, Dick, I live in the most progressive fucking city in the United States. I swear to God,
Beck, what's home for you town-wise? I mean, I think I know, but I'm not going to be the one to call it out. Yeah. And it's rocking for you? It's working out? It's good?
People, literally here, Dick, as long as you're not an asshole... Like I said to somebody, that the motto for this city should be just don't be a dick. People just don't care as long as you're not a dick. They don't care if you have purple hair. They don't care if you have tattoos on your face. There's people here that work in upper level management and everything, and they're covered in tattoos. You can see them. This might be a tad prejudiced in so much as it is like
country wise, but I always fear for people doing what you're doing in the States, because it always sounds to me like it's going to be a more brutally social, nasty environment as it pertains
Well, it
to
just
other.
It depends on the state and the city you live in.
Yeah, I guess Alabama. I guess Alabama would be different, right?
Well, not only that, but as far as the cities go, in any part of the United States, any state you're in, you go into a bigger city, you're going to have a more progressive environment. Like even in Texas, you have Austin, and it's more progressive. You go to Dallas, they're like fuck off. You go to Austin, they're like family welcome. You know, that's how it is.
Okay.
That's where all the gays
But even then, even when you're in the
Texas,
less progressive place, there are still people who are either I don't give a fuck about whether you're LGBT or who are supportive. There are more of those than there are people who want to shoot you.
No,
that's the reality everywhere.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely
Dick, I'm
right.
actually
That's
going
exactly.
through that right
But
here.
Can I finish?
Sorry.
Thanks. No, it's okay. So the rest of that was pretty much any major city except for a few excluded states like Texas. You're going to find a lot more diversity. And then once you get outside and you go past the suburbs and you get to rural, you pretty much find rednecks in every fucking state. It doesn't matter where you're at.
I'm more rural. Now, Purple, you were saying that you're kind of facing this. So, location-wise, where are you and what are you facing?
Well, I'm in Minnesota, which is generally a blue state, but I'm really in a red pocket of the state. But
blue red. Okay, right. Sorry, I had to get my political helmet on there because I'm Canadian. We have more than two parties, right? Okay, right. Yeah, the blue are the
Democrats. The red.
Right. Okay. Yeah, got it. Okay.
But the first year and a half I was living here, everybody got to know me as male. And I've been transitioning since then, and I don't think I'm fooling anybody who's seen me out before. And if nothing else, I've got this tattoo on my arm that unless I'm wearing long sleeves, everybody's seeing it. But I've only had, just a small handful of people who really have had any negative reaction to it. The people who work in the stores and that, they just switch the pronouns. It's no big deal. Nobody's made anything of it. I've had two of the neighbors in the building here who are a little weird about it. One of them, we've got one guy who sits by the front door and he greets everybody who comes in. And, on the days I've had to be showing ID for something, I still have to go out in what I call my grunge mode, my old work clothes.
Right.
And if I'm dressed like that, he'll dress me and he'll talk to me. If I come in a skirt, he will not talk to me at all.
Wow. Now, do you think this person is reacting out of I can't deal with that, I don't like it, or is it I was not raised well enough to be able to deal with the situation and don't know how to handle it? And do you think one more? Do you think there's a difference there? Because I do.
Well, I think there is, a difference of intent there. Yeah.
Yeah, intent. That's it. Thank you. Yeah.
I think mostly it's, this is probably a situation that it never occurred to him he would face in real life. So he never really thought about how to handle it before.
I wanted to turn back to Beck. I'm sorry, but I just have a couple of questions because I've been in.
I'm going to get going because I've got some stuff I've got to get done. So.
Okay.
You all, I will catch you
later.
later.
With us. I hope
it's nice seeing you, honey.
Oh, you will. You'll see me again.
Yep.
Take care, Jen.
Bye,
sweetheart. Bye.
Bye. I'd say good night.
Beck.
But you're on the other side of the planet.
Oh,
good morning, right?
I wanted to add to that real quick, Dick, what I was telling you before. When I decided to transition, I was actually working at my ex's doctor's office.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I remember this.
I started changing pronouns with I changed my pronouns and told all the patients, because they want to know why my name changed.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lie to them. I told them the truth. They all said, good for you. I had one person that got kind of quiet and said, as long as you're happy with your life. And I was like, okay, she's not okay with it, but she's not rude.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah. Which is
She
acceptable.
said, as long as you're happy, honey, that's all that matters.
That's right. If you know that they don't approve, but socially they're not going to be a jerk about it, then all you can do is say, I'm sorry you were raised that way, but at least you understand that you're wrong, right? You know?
Yeah, they know better than to say it, and they're not rude enough to come out and say something like that, you know. And then, you know, I started like growing facial hair and stuff, and the patients saw me outside with my mask off. And so like pretty much I'd say by the time I left, 3/4 of the fucking practice knew.
Now,
and
let me ask you,
I never had not one person ever treated me like shit.
Yeah.
Now,
I always have social anxieties, but I was really having major issues about that when I started the estrogen.
It's
scary because I didn't know, especially people in the building that I have to walk past all the time. And I had a major anxiety issue about talking to the building manager and the caretaker. You know, because literally, if they didn't want to, they could have made things very uncomfortable for me living here.
Absolutely.
You know, so, you know, it was refreshing how well they handled it. And the building manager, I get the impression that she's really curious, but she doesn't know how to ask anything because she's afraid of insulting me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, eventually you'll find an opportunity where the subject leans close enough to it that you could segue to it.
Well, I had to sit down
just
in
be
her
patient
office
for that. It usually happens.
Yeah. I had to sit down in her office and discuss it with her because I had to have her put my new name on the mailbox.
Okay.
I found that
so she knows you changed your name. She has seen you dressed in more feminine clothing. So I mean,
she's seen
you
me
know,
come in and out many times since then.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Purple, if she really had a problem with it, you'd know by now.
Yeah,
so
well, like
I wouldn't worry about it.
I more get the idea now that she's just curious about it, but she doesn't, know how to talk about it.
Yeah, just keep being friendly with her. Eventually, she'll say, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" It just depends on when it's okay in her mind and in her heart to be able to say it. So, you know, just wait it out. She'll come to you when she's ready. They always do. I have so many people that come to me and they go, "Well, now that I've known you for a while, do you mind if I?" Yeah, dog, how you been, buddy?
I was just going to say, I think the majority of the world are quite accepting of trans people. But you can categorize people by saying, you know, there's the fucking you do you, mate, you get on with it, whatever.
Yeah.
Then you've got the I'm not transphobic, but people. You've got the guys that make a joke about it and say, well, you know, you've got your old-fashioned women, you've got your new women, the old-fashioned women being the ones with wombs, and then you've
there is an argument in this. There is an argument in this that says maybe we should relax on the labels and just let people be.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't the world be a better place? But then you've got
the world would be a better place in general if people were just. There's this one magic word. It's really crazy. It's going to blow everybody's mind. It's called considerate.
Yeah.
I know, right? Weird, huh? Yeah. So if everybody did that throughout their entire lives, everything else would fall into place.
Well, yeah.
I do believe, though,
it says so in the Bible that you can't do that. Then the world's going to be fucked up forever.
Purple.
Purple. Jenny's backstage.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
You know, there's one thing, Beck, though. There is considerate to both sides. I've seen some situations that were caught on video that are ugly for either side of a phobic relationship because somebody took things way too far instead of just saying, oops, sorry, didn't mean to. Hey, that's cool. You know what I mean? And there has been situations on both sides of all kinds of situations in life. Never mind, what they may be, just differences of opinion that are drastic. And it could very much be, oh, sorry, didn't know. Okay, yeah, cool. Anyway, here, let me help you with that because, you have too much to carry to your car. Life could be that simple if people could just not let little things become determining factors in whether or not you like somebody's interactions with you.
So what you're saying is don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be me. Just
not a dick.
Yeah, don't be me.
Yeah, that's my rule. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah, but like you might look at somebody out of the corner of your eye and they're wearing something that and they're dressed in their makeup and whatever it is, you just go, holy fuck. But at the same time, if you were having a backyard barbecue and they happened to show up and you were just hanging out, having a drink and blah, blah, they might actually be one of the best people you've ever met in your life. People got to get over this and just stop with this visual appraisal and see past it. I mean, I can't look at every Japanese person as brilliant because they were good in the late 70s and early 80s with electronics, because not everybody from Japan is a genius, right? I would be an idiot to believe that. It's so stupid,
Well, I've got a friend who's transitioning at the moment, and she's only going through the early stages of so she's still in like the psychology type thing, where she goes and visits a psychologist, and then she'll get the pills.
That'd be tough.
And she was one of the lads for years, and I'm okay with it. I'm cool with it. You crack on, girl. But my friends in the same group, a few of them are not good with it at all. Even though they want to accept, they find it hard to accept because she's in her early 50s. See, I slipped up there but yeah, I can see people wanting to accept it but find it difficult.
Yeah, but it's not slip up if you're just trying to communicate with friends.
Yeah.
It's not. Nobody here is going to go, come on, dog, what the fuck, I know. That's the problem, isn't it? The majority of the world are very accepting, but yeah, I think
the minority are not accepting, but they're so fucking loud that they make a deal out of it.
I think we set expectations on our fellow human beings to our own position, maybe a little bit too high these days. Like, I have social anxieties, fibromyalgia, but I'm 6 foot tall and 180 pounds, so I look like I should be physically capable. And I can't get visibly, properly angry with every person that expects me to just be able to lift their whatever because they're moving in dresser, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. I think social media has brought us to a point where we think we can sum shit up in a moment, and we're not capable, and we have to stop.
I don't know if it's social media, because it will take me, for instance. I'm now a spaz, so when I go out and about, people are different towards me. They're like, oh, well, let me open the door, let me carry that, let me get that for you. And I'm like, I want to tell them, no, fuck off. I can do it. But I don't know whether it's people trying to be nice or not accepting that, now you're on a frame or you're in a wheelchair, depending on how good my day is, I'll be on a frame or I'll walk around on a frame or crutches or I'll be in a wheelchair.
But you just exemplified what I'm talking about. If somebody tries to help, it shouldn't be seen as, oh, they think I'm incapable or something. They just saw somebody that was having a bit of a struggle and wanted to be nice. And I think, like there's a lot of moments in life where we could all just take a moment and step back and go, you know what? They didn't mean it that way. I don't have to be, like a lot of these I want to see your manager moments and stuff and whatnot. You know what I'm getting at? I think the human Purple, the human condition is a little bit too pronounced to stressing out.
I mean,
Well,
I get that, but because it happened to me suddenly, I had spinal stenosis and it happened suddenly.
Sorry, dog, but I was asking Purple for an answer there. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were. Go on.
Yeah, no, I've had times like that I wind up being rather conflicted because, like, I see somebody who's walking with a cane or something, and it's like, okay, if I hold the door open for them, am I just being polite, or are they thinking that I'm being ableist?
Yes.
Yes. Well, let me jump in on that cane because I'm a cane person, and doors are one of my pet peeves. When I'm going through a door that swings open, frequently I have to lean on the bar across the door for support as I go out. And you'll get an able-bodied person who comes in behind you or even in front of you, and they automatically grab the door and to push it open for you, which I understand. They're trying to be nice and all this kind of stuff, and that's great, and I love it. But if I'm leaning on that door to balance myself and you push it, I'm going down.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it works both ways. I'm just trying to illustrate that it can be a nasty thing sometimes.
I think people find other people's situations uncomfortable.
Well, I think a lot of the uncomfortable is just not knowing, wanting to do the right thing, but not knowing if the other person is going to take it as being a good intention or take it as being patronizing.
This is where the modern human condition clashes with the traditional human leaning towards empathy. You see somebody that could use help. You go to offer it, and now you're cursed out as the bad person. So now we're stuck in this weird, it's against our nature hesitation thing. It's fucked up, isn't it, Purple? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah. It's just sometimes it's really confusing not knowing what you're expected to do. And Dick, I think maybe you and I suffer from that more because of the autism, and when you're unclear on people's expectations with the autism, that's really screws you up.
Yeah, I get that.
It leaves me, I'm always confused on this side of life, Purple. I never know what to do. The only moment I'm clear on my actions is if somebody starts acting really aggressively, I am not the person you want to do that with because I can handle that. But otherwise, I'm always left going, people confuse me.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. Some people, trans, gay, whatever, they embrace the adversity that they've been put in, and some people don't embrace it. They just want to be them. Let me be me. I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this for the world.
What's that crackle sound I hear right now?
Well, it's not me. I don't think. No, it's not me. I can hear it as well.
I'm not sure who that was coming from.
It could have been my side. This is why I'm asking, because I just bought a new connecting cable from my little preamp box to my speakers, and I'm terrified that it's failing and I just have to go and freak out on somebody, right? So I have to double check.
Yeah, Dick, I think we have had an echo from you.
Yeah.
Have you? Okay, I'll double check.
We also had echo from Dog.
Oh, is it coming from Dog?
Well, I'm not moving. I'm not doing anything.
Actually, I think that crackle might be Jenny.
No,
Might be
we weren't talking about the crackle that time, dog. We were talking about the echo in the background. Someone's playing without like headphones, and if they turn it down just
I'm not on headphones. Have I got an echo?
That's what we think. That's what you were saying.
It turned out. Sorry, the echo was on my side. It turned out the whole time I've been on the show, I've been on my headphones, but I also had my speakers turned on in the background and had no idea. That was me.
Oh my God,
I'm
you sound
sorry.
so much better now. You were echoing too. It was weird.
Oh,
yeah, well,
that was
I could tell
me.
sometimes when I was talking, I'd hear my own voice coming back at me with a delay.
Yeah.
Fucks with your head, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I couldn't hear it because the speakers were quieter than the headphones, so I couldn't tell they were on. I had no idea. Fuck, my bad. Sorry, everybody.
I can't record anything listening.
There's a humming coming from my bed because at the end of my bed there's a pump there that pumps air through the mattress. It's
This sounds like a sexual problem you should probably keep to yourself.
Dog, it's fine. We can't hear that.
It's a pressure relieving hospital mattress. Whether you can hear that or not, I don't know.
Perp, I'm going to go because every time you get this many people in the StreamYards, I begin to have problems and the crackling might be me. So
Yeah,
I'll jump out, Jenny.
No, it's not.
You stay.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Not much you can do at that point. Don't worry about it. There isn't much you can do about when she gets that bad.
Yeah, no, shit happens. I mean, I can lower my audio and stuff and whatnot. That's not a big deal, but I thought it was mine because I was seeing it come up, and it was because of that echo through the speakers. I had no idea they were on. I've been sitting in my headphones the whole time. I couldn't tell. I am working on a slightly new system where not only do I have the Focusrite preamp for my microphone, but I have a Line 6 preamp for my guitar that's also running my speakers, and I didn't realize it was turned on still. I'll have to make sure I get that correct coming up. But it's a really cool setup because Purple coming up, we'll be able to go live on Shills U, the After Hangout channel, and we'll be able to get like Chris Durham and whatnot, people who can really play music, and we're gonna do live jams and whatnot where people can like jazz out and whatnot and play as we're talking over top of it, but live music, right? How cool is that?
Got Randy inside chat. Harmonica man. He's brilliant.
Yeah. He'll be over for sure. We've got a list so far in a spreadsheet of like 20 people that we can invite over for these hangouts. It'll be badass cool. It's going to be really good shit.
Do you have Christopher Mowdy on your list?
Yep. And him and I, he sent me a track there, Beck, a little while ago, right before I got that RG450, the replacement guitar for my stolen one.
Yeah.
So he sent me a track and he was like, hey, you got an idea for this? I was like, well, yeah, but I can't quite play it yet. A couple weeks later, I had the guitar. I finally got the setup right, and, it took a little while. The idiot, if you know anything about guitars, he put 5 springs in a Floyd Rose tremolo system, which only needs 3. So he literally tried to take like a Steve Vai, Eddie Van Halen guitar and turn it into like a Telecaster that was meant for the Who or something, Yeah.
No.
Oh, dude, it was so bad, man. And so it took me a couple of weeks. I got it all set up and right and whatnot, and I have started laying down a few, and it's finally coming my way. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
Boy, Commander, even your avatar looks like it's tired.
I was also looking at my phone.
Oh,
well, that would probably be.
I thought you might be starting to microsleep at the keyboard. That happens to me after I've gone too long without sleep.
Well, I've gone more than I got up at probably 9 o'clock. I headed out of Columbus at 11, and I got home at 9, and I haven't had any sleep, so would probably be a good idea at this point.
Yeah, you really
Yeah.
should go lay down for a few hours.
Yeah, Commander, with your home life and your work structure and whatnot, I know for a certain you don't get enough sleep. You should. You should.
Maybe when I pack a few tens of grand away, and then I'm actually thinking of probably by the end of the year trying to sink some money into some facet rough and then try to make a big score of that and then stop working these crazy hours. I taught myself how to cut stones. I need to get to, there's a place called TM Snyder's outside LAX, and they sell very, very good facet rough. I'm sorry.
No, I have this amazing joke forming in my head, but I'm literally had like 12 beers already, and I'm on beer 13, and I'm trying not to lose my train of thought. And if you can't tell already, I lost it as I was trying to make the joke, and I still haven't found it, so now I have to shut up. It's one of those moments.
Hey,
it really
Dick,
sucks.
Shut up.
Yeah. I had a good one though, Beck. I really did, but it was just gone. It's in the ether.
What a fucking dick. He's always going on. He never shuts up.
Oh, here you go. I got a joke for you. So this old married couple, the old man feels like he's forgetting shit, and the wife's like, "You are." So he goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Okay, well, it's not too bad yet. Just get yourself a notebook. And anything she says, just write it down in the notebook. And that way, you can look back on it, and it'll either A, help you remember, or you have the notebook." And he's like, okay. So he gets a notebook and everything. And about 2 weeks later, they're at the house, and he's sitting in the living room, and she says, you know what I would like? And he said, "Well, what's that, honey?" She said, "I'd really like a cup of tea." And he said, "Oh, I can get that for you." And she goes, "Well, do you want to write it down in your notebook?" And he's like, No. I got it. It's just a cup of tea." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yeah, absolutely." So he goes in the kitchen, and she hears like utensils clanking and pots and pans on the stove. And she's like, "What the hell is he doing?" And then finally he comes back like 40 minutes later, and he's got a tray, and he's got oatmeal on it, and eggs and bacon, and he's got orange juice, coffee, everything but fucking tea, right? And he says, "See, look, I did just fine." And she goes, "You should have used your notebook." And he says, "Why is that?" And she said, "Because I like my bacon crispy."
Oh, that's funny. We should, hey, Purple, Skits is in the house. Let's give Skits the link. You gotta have Skits.
I left
haven't talked to
Skits
Skits in a long time.
Discord.
Discord, Skits, if you wanna.
Yeah, Skits has been here for some time.
Oh, Skits has earned Skits has earned his place and is now on the Shills roster too, right?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, Skits is my biggest supporter. Skits sends me money every month, and he keeps buying me cat toys.
Skits is the one that helped me buy my guitar when the other one was stolen.
Skits got me a nice cart for my gardening.
Yeah, Skits got a puzzle box off of my Amazon wish list for the cats, and that thing keeps Petunia busy for hours every day. I put the cat treats in it, and she's got to figure out how to, there's 3 boxes inside that she's got to slide the right way to get them to fall out the bottom. And that thing keeps her busy for 2-3 hours every day.
Oh, and
that's beautiful.
But we have to balance this. Skits is still not as cool as Sloth Girl, because Sloth Girl sent me my brand new in the box Albert Einstein action figure that hangs on my wall in a place of honor. I shit you not. One day I was on a stream talking, and I was like, I saw this picture and I showed everybody, look at this. Albert Einstein had an action figure. I want this more than I want my next breath. You know, I was freaking out. Within 48 hours, Sloth Girl and Purple have PM'd me. Okay, we've got the Einstein action figure. What's the address? We're going to send it to you. I'm like, what? Yeah, here's the picture. And I'm like, are you kidding me? What? You know?
Sitting right here next to my printer. For my birthday, she got me the Ben Franklin figure from the same set.
And thank you for the kneading needles. I am working on learning how to knit.
Oh, yep. Those are all from Sloth Girl.
Yep.
Yeah, she was going through and thinning out all of her duplicates.
Yeah, I got the knitting thing right here, and I haven't gotten very far with it, but it's there.
Oh, I show everybody that ever comes into my house for the first time. Come here, check this out. You see this? That's a strange thing to hang on your wall. No, it's not. This is why. You know?
Right.
Well, you know, her biggest one is if you follow Cyrus the Skeptic. Even now that he used to do his stuff live, now he does most of it behind an animated avatar.
Yeah.
But sometimes you'll see a little stuffed doll of him, even with the animation. Sometimes he's got a stuffed doll laying on the desk. That's because Sloth Girl actually crocheted a doll to look exactly like Cyrus. And I made a little wooden hammer for him, and we sent that to him.
That's awesome.
Totally.
That's awesome.
Oh, and these dogs here are possible contenders for ones I may adopt. Looks like there's some litter mates here though. They're all 6 months, 2 weeks. And,
yeah, they probably are.
Yeah, the one on the left there is named Piper, and the one on the right is named Cookie. And I think there's a third one here that looks like that one. That one's same age, and this one's name's Mary.
Well, but if there's 3, you have to take all of them because you can't leave one alone.
I know.
Yeah, you can't. You either gotta take one or all 3. You gotta if there's 3 total, you gotta leave one with the one in the kennel, man.
Yeah, I can't afford. I can only afford to get one in dog. So
yeah.
I like
know,
Cookie.
It's not really practical for a lot of people.
I think Cookie is fucking adorable. Although the other guy, man, he looks kind of tough. I'd call him like Bowser or something, or Bruiser.
They're all girls.
Oh. Well, shit, that just ruined that. Never mind.
Cookie sounds sweet.
Yeah, Cookie is cute.
So, Commander 401, you understand the shame I feel from having echo from my mic, right? You get it, you know.
Do I have echo?
No, it was only me, unfortunately. It's so bad. Skits is in the house.
Well, and Dick, you were the last one I would thought of it from.
I know. That's the thing, Purple. For me to fuck that up, it's not cool, man.
Sexy.
You know?
That's right.
How's it going?
This is the
are we all turning on cameras now? I got camera. We can turn it on if we're doing it.
This is a doggo I got to meet today.
Aww.
Her name's Remy. She's a little bit bigger than I was looking to get, but she was so sweet and calm, and she seemed to be interested in me. Yeah. And,
yeah, she looks like she's very calm. Like her face just looks.
Yeah.
Like chilled.
The only reason why I haven't really sat down on to get this one was she had a rash on her, and there was some question as whether it was going to be an ongoing issue or not. So I have to wait until the end of the month to find out. And I'm just hoping she doesn't get adopted by then, you know.
Suck. Yeah.
I can't afford upfront cost of getting everything I need for a dog plus medical bills.
Right. Yeah. I had a cat I actually adopted one time. I had a really good job and everything was going fucking great. And then I got fired again. And I couldn't afford it because she had feline leukemia. I mean, she was really healthy at the time, but you know, their health can just dive whenever. And then what do you do if you have no money? You know? I took her back because they said you can always bring her back, but once you bring her back, you can, if you bring one animal back, you can never, you know, adopt from us again. So I brought her back and I was crying. I was sad, man. I love that little fucking cat. She was just the cutest thing. She played and had a good time, and I don't know, she was just adorable. Her ears were really, really big for her head, and her head was kind of actually her ears matched her body, but her head was kind of small for her body. So she was just really fucking cute. I can't even describe it. She looked like a little tiny kitten all the time.
It was just so sweet with that dog. They brought me into a room, you know, to meet the dog, and they brought him in the leash, and she came over to me and stuck her head in my lap. And I just held her head, and she just smushed her face.
Aw. Good stuff. Hey, Jeff, how you doing, buddy? Oh, Skits is the coolest cat. You guys don't even know.
Yeah. Jeff is also on the recovery list right now.
Oh, what happened, Jeff?
Oh.
What?
He hasn't wanted to go into it too much, but he was in the hospital.
Oh, well, I hope you feel better, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm 2 weeks post surgery, so.
How's it going?
Yeah. It's going good. I got to remember to not move fast and be gentle on myself. And doing.
And not reach too far.
Godless Scummer, shout out. Godless Scummer.
Like, I'm not quite ready for like chest bumps after a football game or anything. I think that might be too soon for that.
I would think that like having to reach too high or too far would be a problem. You don't want to pull any muscles across there.
It really is. Yeah. No playing
getting
basketball.
Something off the top shelf, you probably need help right now.
Well, what I did actually, Purple, in preparation for my surgery, I lowered everything, all my food and stuff. I put my microwave down to like hip level, and then I have my coffee pot back now because I can pick up a gallon jug of of water with 2 hands and pour it into the coffee pot, right? So, but yeah, the rest of it, I just moved everything down low so I could just reach everything.
Hey,
and I have a step stool ladder right here, and this is how I get into my bed because I can't pull myself up right now.
Purple, Kira J in the live chat, she's a totally cool shills booster and stuff. Can we give her a wrench? Is that you know, like,
I'm surprised she didn't have one by now. Yeah, she's been hanging around here for some time.
I've known her for quite a while now.
Yeah, she's total. She's family, man. Of course, you know.
Yeah, she's
the problem
a very
is
nice,
that she tends
funny,
to work and not
person.
say very much. So it's like
she doesn't type a lot.
I know.
But she's watching though.
Yeah, she does that on the shill. She won't say anything until somebody says something outrageous, and then she just can't help herself, right? Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I agree.
Since you're handing out,
Commander signed off for the night.
Night, Commander.
Night.
Later, 401.
Yeah, since you're handing out wrenches, dog doesn't have a wrench either.
Yeah, give me my wrench.
You must have lost it in the hospital because I know you used to have one. Okay, you have to type something in the YouTube chat for me to be able to mark you.
You should be able to scroll up. He's got some stuff he's typed in.
If you want to be,
I don't know, an L.
Yeah.
Speak if you want to be spoken to.
Put a P for purple and she'll mod you.
Yeah, I think everybody in here today should have the wrench. I don't see anybody who doesn't deserve one.
Skits, we got a cool idea coming up on the Friday show on the Shills. Science fiction, science fact. And you just get to bring up cool things that maybe happened, maybe didn't, maybe are stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
or you could bring up something that's stupid and then bring up the real fact of it. And
exactly. Right?
Debunked. Yeah.
Yeah. But the idea is I throw out the topic idea. The people who show up fulfill it. So make it your own, right? Because I have no idea what's coming, and we now have a proper, viable conversation that's interesting and only takes about 20 minutes, and we can move on.
Right. Yeah. That's really the problem with that's. Sorry, dog.
I was going to say a good question for that topic is the world round or flat?
Oh, well, that's not a question,
they talk about
right?
that all the time on the shows.
No, but a good question for that would be, why do X-wing fighters open their wings for attack position when it just makes them a bigger target for the enemy? Right? It makes no sense.
Aerodynamics, Dick.
Yeah, of course, because in space, everybody knows aerodynamics is key to everything, right?
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with the flying. The opening the wings is all about the guns. It's bringing the gun barrels further apart for a wider spray when they fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
You're right, though. Yeah. You're right.
No, that makes sense, but at the same time, you're making yourself a bigger target on radar or whatever because there is more metal in a bigger area, right? And so, like, to me, and then I thought to myself, wait a minute, this could get really geeky. We have to make this more accessible to everybody, right? And so, so we started thinking about the topic from the point of view of, what did science predict that happened or didn't happen and stuff? And then you could have a really great conversation. Yeah. 1 point could drive 25 minutes of a show. All you have to do is say, you remember they promised us this? Boom.
You know what you should do, Dick? You should do an episode on 1984.
Yes.
Well,
Beck, that would be 4 episodes if you wanted to do it properly.
I mean, really, you'd have to do. Yeah, 1 is not enough for that book. Yeah,
and X-wings do have atmospheric capabilities.
Yeah. See, this is how it goes, right? If you get that specific, this is where it goes.
They do have atmospheric. Yes, they
I do. They've even shown it in The Mandalorian. That's where the thought came to me. I'm like, why do they open the wings? You're just a bigger radar target. Like that's stupid.
Only from the front and side, though.
Yeah. See.
Using that logic, they always got knocked down by craft that was a million times bigger than them, imperialistic Star Destroyers.
Skits, you see, this is why I told you the first rule of being a shill is always make sure you have enough alcohol.
Well,
or if you're like me and you don't drink, make sure you have lots of green. Anybody want some free alcohol? You can come to my house and get it.
If you're talking Star Wars, make sure you got to drink your blue milk.
Most of the stuff that was established in battles in Star Wars, especially the original trilogy, was from George Lucas analyzing World War II films.
Exactly. That's why none of the ships make any sense to anyone if you think about it. Like the TIE fighter. You have the little cockpit hanging in the middle of the ship. So how does that make sense in a hangar? Well, it doesn't. So they finally showed us in The Mandalorian how they get hung and, dragged over and shot out the front of the ship. But, okay, fine. Then that means you have to have this convoluted way of getting them into the ship. Now, we saw this in The Mandalorian where the wings of the TIE fighter fold from the inside so it can land. The top opens. The guy gets kind of elevated up as if he's like the grandiose person in the world. And then they cut the shot to him being on the ground. Why? Because they don't want to show the clusterfuck of cumbersome that would be him climbing down from the top of a round TIE fighter body with no ladder or anything, and somehow being on the ground going, yeah, I'm cool, I'm all that. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous.
Fair.
Well, okay, them getting out would be easy. All they have to do is have a droid slide underneath and put up a fireman's pole into the cockpit, and they can just slide down.
Yeah, but they didn't. They did it all in grandiose so he could rise up from the stage like Gene Simmons in 1979 on a Kiss concert tour or something, like
or like Tom Petty's hat out of the chest.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
If you need your green, there's a dog toy.
God, that was like 93, wasn't it, Dick? 90, 93, 90, no. 90,
yeah, dude, it's got to be 92, 94 at the worst least. You know what I mean? For sure.
I'm thinking 90. I'm thinking either back half of 92 or the beginning of 93 is when I saw him in concert.
I'm very surprised I found this on Amazon.
Me too.
I'm not.
What the hell is it?
It's a bong.
I mean, is it an actual functioning bong?
No,
it's a chew toy for a dog.
It's a chew toy for a dog.
Oh my god!
I'm surprised I found that on Amazon.
Why do that? That's just weird. Just give him a giant leaf to chew on. Fuck it.
Really?
Cut to the chase.
Apparently, there's a whole product line of stuff for dogs like this here.
I think the world would be a better place with stoner dogs.
See, I'm fucked up. I'd give my dogs like toys that looked like body parts and bones and shit.
One of my late fiance's cats, we used to give her doses of the meds. Actually, eventually she went to doming out in a cardboard box, and she had a respiratory condition, and we found it actually did help her. So after she got used to the idea, when she'd see my fiance light up, she would just jump up into her box and just wait for her to blow the smoke in.
Oh no shit. I had Purple, it reminds me. I had a cat, what the fuck was his name? Anyways, Ripples. He had really cool like mottled fur, and he was like a black to a medium brown with some orange mixed in, like really nice bright orange mixed in. And he was this little girl, I was trying to figure out what to name him, and he was only like this big. We found him underneath of a trailer, and she said, "Well, he's Ripples.
It's
he's
always
Ripple
trailers
Stripe."
with you.
Yeah. No, me and the ex were renovating at the time a trailer, and there was kittens that the cat laid inside the fucking insulation. Anyways, this cat was so cool, man, because when we first got him, he was like really just, I mean, when he became an adult, I mean, I got him from the time he was little, but when he became an adult, he was just like crazy. Like he would literally run into the living room and then run across the back of the couch and then run back down and go, like, because he was going so fast. It was just like it was like tilting the turn on a fucking raceway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same idea. So I was like, dude, you need to get high. So I like grabbed his face one day and blew some smoke in his face. Not a whole bunch, just a good bit. And I did that a couple times, and eventually every time we went to light up, he would just get up on the couch between me and John, and he would just like go like this, like who's gonna give me a hit first? Who's gonna give me a hit first? And so I'd light up first, and I'd give him a hit, and he'd stand there for a minute, and I'd give him another hit, and then he'd go lay down on the coffee table, and he'd sprawl out and just like chill with his eyes half open for like hours. He'd just lay there. You could just put your beer down around him. He wouldn't touch it. He wouldn't move. He was just chilling. He was the coolest fucking cat. This one won't let me get him high. I try.
I try.
I have seen CBD oil for pets.
I have CBD oil daily for adults, but
I got some CBD treats for my cats. They will not fucking eat them, and they were like $30 for this goddamn. I mean, it's the real deal. It's like an expensive known brand, blah blah blah. Yeah, no, they won't. He won't fucking eat them.
Fucking cats.
He's just he just gets like.
Yeah.
He has anxiety or something. He paces around and meowing at me, and I have to like check the food and check the water. And yes, the cat box is fine. I already did it. And no, you already had treats. And then he looks at me, and then he walks away. And 10 minutes later, he comes back meowing again. I'm like, oh my god, dude,
That's
you need to chill. My two cats, Sergeant Major and Lieutenant Fuzzy Nipples, are sleeping now.
Wow, that's their name.
Lieutenant Fuzzy Nipples. That's a good name.
Wow.
I got one
Sammy
licking an
Simon.
ass and the other one sleeping.
Sammy's son is sleeping on me.
You know
right
I don't
now.
lie.
He's using my ankle as his favorite pillow, which I
Oh.
don't get. Why did he
Why
pick
an
the hardest,
ankle?
boniest part
Yeah.
of my entire body for a pillow? But that's what he loves
Exactly.
to lay every night.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
there's
know that,
meaty
Purple-
thighs, and yeah, exactly.
But you know, Purple, there is a very strong pulse down by your ankle. And it might feel your heartbeat down there, and animals or when they're kittens, they like to feel
Okay.
your heartbeat.
Yeah.
So I
okay,
think
can
maybe
get
he's
that.
just getting some heartbeat off of your ankle. Yeah.
I hadn't thought
'cause
of
it's
the pulse
actually a
down there,
really
but yeah,
good
that makes
spot down
sense.
Yeah, you can get a pulse down there really good. So.
Yeah,
Getting
with
some
his head
heartbeat.
right
Is
on
that
it,
what
then
the
he would
kids
be
call
hearing
it?
the pulse.
Yeah, getting some heartbeat. That's the new thing. Yep. Also known as MDMA. No, I'm just kidding. Now that's really
That's
funny for
funny.
anybody who's
Yeah.
never tried it. If you've
Yeah,
tried it, you
that's
know
what
what I mean.
That's why I said that's fucking funny.
Yeah. Because ain't no love like ecstasy love, man. They will literally see. The problem is the reason that kids want to keep doing it is it makes your body feel, you're so sensitive and everything feels good. Like you could pet your cat normally, be like, oh, he's soft, but when you're on that, you're like, oh my god, this feels so good.
I
Feel
never
the
brought
fur
my
on
pets
this
into
cat.
ecstasy before. I'm not sure I'm comfortable
No,
with this side of the
I
conversation.
did. No. I'm just using an example. I was just using whenever we had
I'm just kidding.
whenever we
I'm
had a
just
rave
kidding.
at the house, the cats would go upstairs and hide. They wanted nothing to do with any of it. All three of them were like up in my bedroom, like sleeping on my bed. Yeah. Every time we had a party. Of course, everybody was smoking pot. It was just too much for them. They didn't like it at the time. But no, I used to have some. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Oh,
That's
funny.
the problem, though. It feels so good that you want to do it again.
Beck, I've said it before. I don't think you were on the show at the time, but you are one of the great storytellers. You really are.
What do you mean?
You have a way of telling a story very colorful. Not everybody
descriptive,
can.
yeah.
Not everybody can do it, but you are definitely one of them. You know
See,
how to make a story entertaining. You really do.
See, I'm horrible with like grammar and shit.
So am I.
Not that I don't have general proper grammar, but there's some things like semicolons and shit. I don't know where to use them.
Yeah, neither do I. Yeah, but when you're all verbal on a thing, it don't fucking matter, right? You can just go. Yeah.
My point is that's why I know my book's going to be so good, because I'm so descriptive. And when I started this book years ago, I had I literally wrote it out in a notebook, and I had 15 pages, and it was like the first 2 chapters or something like that, or the
right
preface and a chapter is what it was. And I let my friend read it, and she just got through the end of the first chapter. And she's like crying already. And she's like, oh my God, this is like, I can see the flowers, and, I know what color his hair is. And you know what I mean? So I know I have that part down pat. I really just need to get off my ass and fucking finish writing is what I need to do. I have I don't know, 13 or 15 chapters now, something like that. I just haven't worked on a long time.
Well, that's my problem too. I've got the whole novel in my head. It's a matter of getting it typed out in some form that other people can see it.
Yeah. Well, Dick, actually my book is true story with exaggerations to tie the stories together.
Okay.
So the stories themselves are all real things that have happened in my family.
Yeah,
but to get one to the other, and so people understand, I have to add in things because nobody told me exactly everything about their entire life. You know what I mean? Like there's spaces you got to fill in.
Yeah, it's the same way you approach songwriting when you only have the gist of it, not everything, right? You know.
Yep.
You're just connecting it. Yeah, you just gotta get it. Basically, you're just putting tendons in.
Yeah. I do believe
muscle and bone together. That's all you're doing.
Yeah. The thing that's different with writing, though, is like for myself, I find I have a cheat in that I can use the music in a song to set the mood. You got to do it in verbal. You got to do it in script, right? I do believe that's harder. Yeah.
So because I'm ADD, I have a lot of flashbacks in my book. Because I like flashbacks.
No shit, Sherlock.
Not only do they fuck with you, but flashbacks will also
they
fill in spaces. They
set the groundwork that's needed to make they set the cement that lets you know why the character's doing what they're doing. You know, what drives them as a person and stuff, you know.
Like the first 10 chapters are I think 1 through 6 is just a big flashback. From the preface, and then I jump back forward.
Yeah, you got no room for that as a songwriter, so you have to rely on the band to set that mood. It becomes It's, you know, somebody might go, wow, that sounds harder. Well, not if you're a musician. And the musician might go, wow, you have to do all that color with words. Well, it's not hard if you're a writer, you know what I mean? You know, it's a funny, it's a very different place to be, but you're doing the same thing. Right.
Like my poetry is the same way, honestly. I get inspired sometimes and I'll write, and there's always like colors or a breeze or sunlight on your skin, or there's always some kind of like feeling or sensation in there to give you an idea of, you know, where you need to be to fully get it.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah. Because you got to have something that ties you to the moment in a sensual way that's not just through the words, right? You gotta, you know, I can't, I'm the worst person for lyrics. In the bands, I was always like, would somebody write words to this song? Damn it. You know, like, because I don't seem to have anything to say that way. Funny enough, because you can't shut me up on a podcast, but that's a different story.
No, that's why I interrupt you, Dick. I know, it's fine. That's your switch is, so anyway, and then he just stops, see?
Yeah. Well, I know I play host. I'm not the one that's supposed to have the content. I'm the one that's supposed to swap the content around, right? So when I'm on a show like this, sometimes I get lost in, am I supposed to, you know, like you get, it's odd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, Purple, I forgot to...
Great writers. That you can describe something without, you know, if you start a book with, I was walking down a country lane, it was dark and cold and it was raining. But
it's really not how you start a book. But okay, I got you.
But great writers would put you in that position anyway without describing it, if you know what I mean.
Sorry, dog, I'm just screwing with you. No, I get. Absolutely.
Yeah. Their description would not be so direct. It would be roundabout and encompassing, and it would bring you there, right? You know, that's what the music is supposed to do. It's a really being creative, putting everything on your out on the sleeve for everybody, Beck. That's a fucking it's a mind fuck until you make it yours, and then it's okay. Did you go through that transition where you're like, I want to do this, I'm so self-conscious about doing this, you know what, now I'm not anymore, now I'm just doing this? It's a weird moment. It's real though, isn't it? That's what you do, right?
Yeah. Well, music's quite different though, because a lot of people look at music metaphorically, because there's still songs today, isn't it? People saying, no, he wrote this about that, or she wrote this about that in her life, and other people say no, there's not.
Yeah, and some people have no idea. Yeah, and they might all be totally wrong.
Well,
absolutely, it was really just the whole entire love song was about his fucking cat, and nobody knew it.
Yeah.
Or even more, a lot of songs are just, people stringing words together because they're really cool in the moment, and before you know it, you got a song written, and the person who wrote the lyrics doesn't even really know what it's about. It happens in poetry as well, because the words take on more than the actual literal meaning. It becomes a surrounding, an event, a moment, a place that you're a part of that's not even real, and yet you can bring yourself back to because of what they brought you to. It's a very weird artistic thing. I'm not sure everybody gets it, but when you do, it's something special. It's really good.
Well, that's what makes it art. Art is something that elicits an emotional reaction from the recipient.
Ah, touche.
Beautiful words, Purple. Well said.
Yes. Yes, I love that. And it's funny when it comes to like art in general, stuff on walls don't really matter much to me. Once in a while I'll see a piece and I'll go, "Oh shit, that's fucking amazing."
Yeah.
But when I started doing the art handling job, I just was never into art. I learned to appreciate statues more.
Yeah.
And I learned to appreciate people who move art, because it's not like, oh, I'm carrying these little picture frames. No, I'm talking about like me and the new guy had to move a bronze angel who the top of her head was at 87 inches, I believe, which was too high for the door. So we had to tilt her and bring her in like that. That was fun.
Wow.
And to get her out, she was in the back of the warehouse, like down a little path that was just wide enough to bring her sideways through. So we had to drag her with moving straps. And if you guys have never seen those and you need to move, look them up.
Slide.
I've got a set.
They have hoops in them, and you slide your arms through them, and you put like the top hoop up against your elbow. So when you're pulling, you're not pulling with your hands or your wrists or your forearms. You're pulling with your fucking shoulders.
They are an absolute must if you have to move a mattress.
Yeah,
if you move a mattress, there's nothing else.
If you need to move anything, they are a must. They are just amazing. But anyways, not the point. So the guys are like, oh no, I tried to slide cardboard under it. We tried to wiggle it out and we couldn't, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hold on. And they told me we were going to be picking up a statue. The measurements were way off, and it was way bigger than they originally told us, of course. So I had brought those straps with just in case. And by God, we needed them. And we drug that thing straight out, drug it out and everything. The guy helped us tilt it a little bit, got it out onto a dolly, rolled it over to the truck. And then we had to slide it off the dolly it was a pain in the ass. This thing was like, I don't know. The wingspan was like 5 foot. Her wingspan was 5 foot. She was an angel with a wingspan of 5 foot.
That's huge.
Bronze.
That's big.
Bronze. Solid bronze.
Wow.
Solid bronze.
My fiance was an artist, and hanging over the couch in the apartment she had when I moved in with her, she had a painting she had done that was on a 4 foot by 6 foot canvas.
Nice.
That she had actually mounted herself in the apartment. So it had never been out of the apartment. And when we moved, we had to get this 6 foot painting down a 3rd floor brownstone walk up that's got the spiraling staircases.
I've done it. Look,
Holy shit.
You know the basic staircases they have in any, like, not the shitty little ones they have in apartment, like shitty apartments, but where rich people have condos and shit, and they have those nice wide ones, or the office, like an office building width, basically, right? We had to bring in 2 pictures. One was 12 feet and one was 9 feet. And we had to flip them over the railing, bring it up, flip it over the railing. Yep. Don't touch it on anything.
Right.
Don't scuff it. Don't scratch it. Don't drop it. Don't. Yeah.
How to get it around all those turns without ever touching anything.
We did. It took 4 of us to do it. Basically. Well, one guy was just holding the doors for us when we pulled it out of the.
Oh,
okay.
sure. He got the
I'm
easy
sorry.
job.
The statue was solid bronze. The base was not. The base, which was a lot of the height, was hollow. It was just metal.
Okay.
It was some kind of an alloy. So you're right. No, just the angel was bronze. But no, she was literally like 500 some odd pounds. I don't know. We could not pick her up. We had to like tilt her and slide the dolly. Nobody could pick her up. There was 4 of us. We couldn't pick her up. When we got her back to the shop, there was 6 of us. We couldn't pick her up. I don't know. 500 pounds, 700. I don't know. Heavy as fuck.
Sounds heavier than 500.
I don't know. I really don't.
Well,
honestly,
also,
I'd
it's an
say with the
awkward
guys
shape
I
that's
worked
hard to
with.
grip.
Yeah, I'd say with the guys I worked with and the equipment we had, and us not being able to lift her like that, like we literally had to use a forklift on her. Yeah, I'm gonna say she had to be over 800 pounds. She must have been, because there's no way we would have been able to pick it up otherwise. I've picked up, I know, 350-pound statues. Just reached down and picked up, 100-pounders off the floor all the time. So she had to be pretty heavy. But I tell you, I strapped her up 10 ways to Sunday. I had a strap going this way. I had a strap going that way. I had a strap going that way. I made like an X and stuck her like in the middle of it. And then I took some blankets and put it up against the wall and faced her flat to the wall, and then just strapped her that. Well, like I had her because she was so top heavy, man. I was like, we picked her up, and like I think it was hold on, I picked her up in Houston, Texas, and I had to drive her back to New Mexico down the highway. So I was not playing around with strapping her in. And then the guys opened up the doors and they went, "What the fuck?" And I said, "She didn't move, did she?" And they were like, "No." And I said, "Was she damaged?" They said, "No." I said, "Did I do anything wrong?" They said, "No." And I said, "So I did a damn good fucking job for having." It was the first statue I had ever moved that was taller than me. Literally, I had never moved anything bigger than that. So I told the guy at the museum, I've never done that before. We did pretty good, huh?
But Beck, I gotta point out, if somebody had popped in halfway through this conversation, oh yeah, and I had to fucking push her through and fucking this and that.
Oh
and
yeah,
whatnot.
I wrapped her in blankets. I had her tied 10 ways to Sunday.
Yeah, I swear to God, people would have been donating thinking they missed out on the OnlyFans stream. You know what I mean?
I walked into my oldest brother's bedroom one time, and there was fucking straps hanging out from underneath the bed. And I said, because he was changing his sheets, and he pulled the sheet off, and the straps came out. And I said, "Yo, bro, you want to like tuck them back in?" He goes, "Oh, damn. Well, she likes it." And I said, "Long as she likes it." That's all. Good for you, bro. I don't care.
That's funny.
Well, they may have come in and not thinking you're talking about a statue and thinking, well, that's federal. That's a federal crime, what you're doing to that poor girl.
Halfway through your story, Beck, I had the idea
hilarious.
of if somebody had walked in during the conversation and didn't know what you were saying, how funny would this be? And I was muted in the background laughing my head off inappropriately, because,
You know what, Dick? If you laughed your head off appropriately, I think you'd lost your mind. Everything you laugh at is inappropriate. There's like
usually,
not a shocker,
right?
bro.
Yeah.
Not a shocker, man. Try again next
But, I may be, a big jerk on the outside, but I actually do care. I do.
You're actually a big softy who usually tries to help too much. That's who you are.
Yeah.
Because you're just like
Canadian.
Me. I do the same thing. I try to help too much.
When I lived in St. Paul for 17 years,
thank you.
I got most of my, I did the handyman work going into people's homes.
Honesty.
And I got most of my work from the queer and the kink community because I got the reputation for not flinching at what anybody had. So people were hiring me to do things like, suspend a sex swing from the ceiling. I actually had one gay couple that I helped them design and build an entire dungeon in their basement.
That's fucking awesome.
It's about as good.
I knew
as
you did that stuff, but I didn't know you had done an entire dungeon.
It's about as good as the time I was helping somebody move and found on their dildo and they shut in their in their drawer.
Well, you know, it's okay as long as the dildo's not like crusty and moldy. I don't see the problem with finding someone's dildo. Like, who cares?
Okay. Give you one
A
pro
moldy
trick.
dildo. Ugh.
If you want anything that's suspended from the ceiling that you don't want noticeable, get an old smoke alarm and take the guts out of it and just put the face of it over the hooks when it's not there.
There you go.
Good to
Brilliant.
know.
Brilliant.
Noted.
Also, you could put up one of those cameras in disguise and then just record the sex too whenever you're not using the swing. Yeah.
Hey, I once stayed in a hotel that was
OnlyFans
secretly
is a thing.
recording their patrons, sexually, and all I could say to the guy was, "I hope you got enough tape."
Oh, when Sloth Girl came to visit me in New York, she wanted to see Niagara Falls, which was about a 2-hour drive from where I live. So we drove up there and we got a motel for the night. And the minute we opened the door, it's like this motel was the setting for virtually every porno filmed in the 70s. Absolutely everything in it was pink.
Orange shag carpet.
Pink shag carpet.
Oh, the
literally.
pink shag. Oh, yeah.
That's nasty.
blood
Carpet.
shag right there, baby.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
what you want? Is that what
I
you
walk
want to
into
take?
that whole. Sorry.
Is that where you want to take a black light?
Oh,
No,
God,
that's the
don't
last thing
do
you
it.
want to do in there.
See,
Here's
You
a
don't
rule.
wanna know.
Here's a rule I always use anytime I'm traveling. I bring my own blanket and I bring my own pillow. And if I think for one reason, I was just smoking something like that. And if I think for any reason at all that place is not clean enough, I will lay in the blanket, curl it around me and use my own pillow and sleep. And then when I leave the place, I won't use it again if I can avoid it.
Yeah.
I'll
I
bottle
see
it
a
up, put it
single
in a
bed
bag,
bug,
and,
I'm
and
out.
wash it as soon as I get home. Because you never know man, I've stayed in some pretty seedy hotels by accident. Like you
Oh,
book it, you get
dude.
there, and the pictures are like from 20 years ago, and the place is a fucking shithole.
Yeah.
I've heard of several cases where they found dead bodies under the beds of.
That was this was my entire musical career during the 90s is what you're
Dead
talking
bodies
about,
under the
right?
bed?
Oh,
true story. It's happened more than once.
I'd rather find a dead
in
body than a bed
hotels?
bug.
In the hotels, yeah.
Oh my god.
A hotel that looks like Las Vegas if you shine a black light around it.
There was a truck driver back in 2000. Shit. I think it was like 2005 or something. He had a student driver. Now, how that works for anybody that doesn't know is when you start, after you get your CDL, you go out with a mentor for anywhere from 2 weeks to a month, depending on the company. Some places like JB Hunt just hand them a set of keys and let them go. And that's why JB Hunt wrecks so much. Just so you know. So stay away from them on the highway because they might be a brand new driver, has no clue. So anyway, so this guy, the company I worked for, the guy had worked for the same company and their policy was 1 month. So I went out with this guy for a month and everything. And anyway, so he's telling me, because he knew he had met the guy, and it said, he told his boss, he was like, I told you he was fucking weird. Because he was, like, literally. Anyway, so he had this student driver, and they're out on the road, and he's in North Carolina, and he calls dispatch and says, hey, man, I just want to let you guys know she's gone. And they were like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, her bag's gone. She's not here. I went in to take a shower. I came back. All her shit's out of my truck. And the dispatcher was like, oh, what the fuck? Must have had somebody come pick her up. She must have bailed on. She didn't want to do it. Because people will do that. They'll just get out of the truck and walk away and not say a fucking word. So
I've got a great tip for new truck drivers.
Hold on.
Don't drink apple juice you find on the side of the road.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's disgusting. Anyway, so the rest of it is about 2.5 weeks after this. He has to take his truck into the shop. Something's wrong, fuel filter problem or something. and the mechanic gets up inside the cab to turn the truck over when he gets done, and he hears some muffled and somebody's kicking underneath the bunk. He opens it up. This girl's laying there. She's tied up. She's gagged, and she's laying in her own piss and her own feces. And apparently he was only feeding her a little bit every day, like a few bites of food. And then whenever he wanted to, he'd pull her out and fuck her and then throw her back under the bunk.
I've got a worse story.
So yeah, that happens.
Oh my, that is just,
isn't that like the most despicable shit you have ever? He was literally like fucking her, and she was covered in piss and shit.
I've heard of worse stories.
Yeah, well, so go ahead. What's yours?
My story involved.
Hold on. Is this a topic of conversation that we need to one up each other on?
No. It's just identical or similar stories. It's there's no penis contest here.
Yeah, no, but even still, like,
you're not gonna like mine.
Hey, May just knows mine's bigger. It's okay. There's no competition here. It's okay.
well, listen,
I got a 6-foot dick.
Yeah. And it's on screen. And it's on screen.
It's right there. Sunglasses and all.
That's me, so baby.
Well, he's positioned on the screen where my dick would be.
Touche.
Yeah, not so much, but okay, I'm just saying, this is a tone of conversation that we could easily go down, but should we, in a casual conversation way, and maybe not save it for this is an actual, conversation that you push forward more, I'm conflicted here, you know what I mean? Like,
these are serious topics. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we shouldn't be. Yeah.
Tonight on the show, psychotic truck drivers.
Well,
oh my God, that would be a topic for you for psycho shit.
Yeah, but it wouldn't just be truck drivers; it would be long haul drivers and but like this is like heavy. Like this is the kind of reel where I don't feel comfortable making jokes around it all. I want to, now explore this and expose. And
well, the only reason I laugh about it now is because he got caught. And that motherfucker's never going to see the light of day. He got light.
Yeah, well, I can only hope that Bubba enjoys his tight balloon knot day and night.
Let me explain to you exactly how he ended up with life. Not only did he kidnap her, not only did he imprison her, he drove her through like 20 fucking states in 2 weeks.
Federal crime.
Every single line he crossed with her in that truck.
Yeah,
so
see,
he got like 140 years or something, 130 years or something, and he was already almost 50 years old. That motherfucker.
Yeah,
and they are not no parole chance of nothing.
Here's my thing on that. If you're 50 years old and you get 150 years in charges, just give them the needle. Fuck them. We don't need you.
They won't do it because it's too inhumane because they've had so many problems with the fucking drugs. What I keep saying is this, here's my solution.
Yeah, I don't care if it's humane. Give him a goddamn rope around the neck. He's a piece of
.22 caliber bullet.
Exactly.
Costs pennies.
Yeah.
It works just as fast. And it's more guaranteed than those goddamn drugs to work. Because if you shoot somebody up in the back of their head, a .22 bullet will scramble their fucking brain and never exit the fucking skull.
Why are we held to the rule of it's humane when they were nevers and we just need to be rid of them?
I don't fucking
right?
know. And I don't, you know what? The ones in the private prisons and they owe the prison when they're done or what the fuck. I don't know how they do that shit. Whatever. But the state ones where we're paying into it, I'm not fucking okay with that.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is the horrible ones are the fucking private prisons.
I don't know the whole thing between the prisons and private and stuff, but we now have prisons for money coming to Canada as well, and it's a very contentious topic.
That's a private prison, private owned, yes.
Yeah, and what's happening here? We have one that's like an hour south of me, and these guys don't give a shit where they let these people out, blah, blah, and whatnot. You know, it's just boom, done. And it's not working out for a lot of people. And in Canada, it's very much not easy to get away with things like this because you don't have the one or the other political system. We have a few parties, and you can vote in the other guys that will screw your shit right up and whatnot, right? And I'm not sure how private prisons are going to go down in Canada over the long term, but myself, you cannot make incarceration a profitable expense unless it's for the government because you're doing things to benefit people while you're in. This is a horrific idea that must be stopped right now.
I was going to say that because private prisons.
Too late here, and they are horrible prisons, and these people get fucking abused, and there's rape going on. They don't do anything about it. They live in like the shittiest fucking conditions. And now, to a point, I don't fucking care. But to a point that is more inhumane than shooting some guy in the back of the head or leaving him in prison for fucking 100 years.
How the hell did I find How the hell did I find a second story that involves this shit? Excuse me. I'm not even sure you want me to elaborate on that.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable, scary thought when a public company is now responsible for the incarceration of the political court-driven system of justice. How can we just slough it off afterwards and go, yeah, fine, no worries? You know, like how
corporate America.
Yeah, and it goes to show that everybody up on the top, you know, the top level that is just living and loving life, they have zero consideration for anybody below. I mean, there's so many ways to analyze that too. When you look at the consolidation of industry, you know, you have Ma Bell, the big Bell telephone company thing in the Americas, right?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Right, and it was split up due to monopolization into multiple companies, and then those companies grew over time and bought each other up to be one big conglomerate again. How can that even happen? You know, how does that even happen?
Because those are the people giving money to people like Trump.
That's right. It's all about the lobby now, isn't it, Beck? Exactly. Right? It's all about the lobby.
Let me tell you how I think voting should go. I don't remember what country it is that has it like this, but this is how it should be. You get 1 month to campaign and spread information and pamphlets and shit, and then everybody shuts the fuck up and lets people think for 3 months, and then they vote. That's it.
I have one extra rule to add to that. You should, in your campaign, never be legally allowed to talk about what the other opposition are doing. You should only be allowed to talk about what you would do. Let the mudslinging be left to the press.
Yep.
The political parties should never be allowed to talk about the other parties. Only what you're going to do.
That would
most of these political parties
have policies.
Wait, hold on, dog. What, Purple?
That would require them to actually have policies.
Exactly.
That's the problem we're running into now is that the Republicans know how to get elected. They have no clue how to govern.
That's right. All they do is know how to run the mudslinging campaign, but that does not lead to governance for the people. And as such, the idea of talking about the other party being taken away would mean that the populace might be educated on what you claim to do.
Well, yeah, people
Right?
would actually be voting based on the issues rather than on the charisma of the candidates.
Exactly. I totally believe you should not be allowed to talk about the other party in your advertising. It would change the landscape entirely.
Yeah, the whole mudslinging thing in general, all of that shit. Yes, absolutely. It goes to. Yeah, that's what the whole point of only the month to campaign.
Yeah.
Because then, then they're
you don't have time for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that shit. They start this shit 2 years ahead of time now. They're already fucking campaigning.
Yeah.
End of 2022, they start campaigning. It's insane, man. Now we got to sit here and deal with this shit for a fucking year and a half.
The money that is spent for nothing for it.
Well, how about like Trump, where he took all that fucking money and then a bunch of them took money out of the organization for his campaigns and fucking spent it themselves.
Oh, then haven't you heard he's made another million or so off of donations for?
I know they're fucking idiots. They're idiots.
Yeah.
I do have to say though, when it comes to Trump, as a Canadian, when the election was being held, every single Canadian up here was like, well, we know Hillary's going to win, but it'll be interesting to watch how close it goes. He fucking won?
I remember that the election night, the Canadian
we
website,
were shocked.
That was because of
got shut down.
College vote.
Yeah, that was because Hillary's emails. Only reason.
Dude, the slam campaign on her over that one simple issue, and it was the way it was done at the end of the election, right before the vote, was obvious manipulation. Obvious. And that's one of the reasons I really, really think you should not be allowed to talk about your opposition in the election, because if that was the truth, the news, all those people that look for dirt and stuff, they would have found it if it was there. They always do. Right? They always do. I mean, Nixon was taken down. You know what I mean? They always do. Right? And I do believe if it wasn't for the dirt slinging, Hillary would have won. No problem.
Oh, no, I agree. I agree 100% with you. Like, they didn't even run a campaign on policies other than Trump, jerking off all the hard conservatives. The rest of it was just putting down the other side.
Yeah. And had Hillary won, the American history over the last bunch of years would have been so much better.
I got to say, I want to say, because, a lot of people hate Biden. I do not. First of all,
I don't mind him. I think he's all right.
Let me start out by saying I don't trust any politician. Because you're going to get up to like presidency and high fucking ranking shit. You've had your hand in somebody's pocket stroking them at some point.
100%.
So I don't trust anybody higher up in the government. If you're higher than like the county clerk and shit, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about that. But shit, ADD.
Yeah, it happens to me too. Go ahead. You got it. You can pull it together. Come on.
It was about Hillary and her emails or something.
Biden. So Biden, I know he sounds like he's got dementia and shit, and I know he trips going upstairs, and he's getting old. And do I think he should go again? No, I don't think. I think he's getting too old for it. But at the same time, that motherfucker has done more for the American people, for years besides Obama. For years. So everybody can bitch all they want about dementia, man. It's not just about who's the president. The thing about the presidency, it's more of like how diplomatic you can be.
It's
That's
the
what the
office.
presidency's about.
It's the office. It's the chair. And
yeah, they have, but they
so
have to be diplomatic to a point
Yeah.
because if they're not, nothing's going to happen. The
And
fact
Beck-
that he's got so much done also shows how good his staff and his cabinet are.
Beck,
Like,
Beck,
it's not just
on-
about
on-
fucking
on the-
Biden. It's a team
on the
effort.
on the world stage, Biden's administration looks good right now. He may be an old man and a bit of a fuddy duddle or whatever you want to say, right?
Yeah, but he's a nice guy who's all inclusive. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, and he
How many times
is
you get a
a
nice guy as a president?
you
Besides
know,
Obama?
and Obama was great, right? Obama was great.
He was like
but
the bro.
We have the same thing up here in Canada. Justin Trudeau, you know, the father namesake, you know, the second in line, right? He's a cool dude, and he actually likes all people very well. But he has such political opposition that try at every angle to make him look like an idiot. And he's not. You know, it's not fair. Right? It's just
well, that's
not.
the same thing they're doing with Biden. They don't want to talk about all the laws he's passed, the shit he reversed that Trump took out that was fucked up.
That's
and
right.
Caused more stuff like pollution and shit to happen. Nobody wants to concentrate on that. They want to keep re-showing the clip of him tripping up the goddamn stairs of the plane. If that's I've done that. I've done that, and I did it. I was 30-something.
Dude, up here in Canada, we have had news articles that talk about how Biden has reversed all kinds of bullshit from the last Republican administration and whatnot, right? And we get those news articles because we're a slightly more liberal community, right? And we have a liberal prime minister right now. So it all works out very well in the public interest to talk about this shit. But
you know what, Dick?
Yeah.
All of the stuff that Biden's done that has actually, you know, helped like working class people, I would not have heard of any of it if I didn't follow the CBC.
See,
I
that's
only
what
hear
I was
about it from Canada. The people in the US don't talk about it.
I know.
You know how how I know what he did? Because I watch the press briefings when they pop up on YouTube. That's how I found out a lot of information that comes out of the White House. I watch the fucking press briefings, and then any news station that's not biased, I'll check them both out, and if they agree, then I figure it must be the truth.
Dude, we are as a Canadian populace are very proud of our American friends for erasing the stain of Trump with Biden. Because he's very much a Trudeau sort of person. We like him very much, and we feel more of a political brotherhood with our American friends. I mean, you know, I don't mean that on a personal level, but you know what I mean, right? Yeah.
Well, you know, that's the difference. You know, you look at Biden and how when he
I love it.
He's getting too old now too. Nobody wants to vote for him anymore. It sucks.
There's another girl who's running who's pretty good.
But you look at Biden and watch, just fuck what he's saying necessarily. Listen to the tone in his voice, his body language when he's saying stuff.
He's
you can tell
honest.
that he cares. Versus Trump going, and then we're gonna look at the wall.
I know.
And we're gonna make the Mexicans pay for it,
dude. Beck,
do you see how big my hands are?
Beck, you didn't even have to be a student of the human condition to catch that motherfucker in the lies, right?
Isn't
Come
that
on.
crazy? And people still believe him, Dick.
Oh,
they are so backwoods, and the only thing they can get is Fox News where they live.
Yeah,
it's literally like that. It's like fucking little China out there.
Yeah, there's a girl who's running, by the name of Marianne Williamson, and she's getting shit on by the media, left and right. But she has basically the same positions as Bernie. And she's
what's her name?
Williamson.
Marianne Williamson.
Marianne Williams. You know what? I think I did see something about her.
I've heard
Yeah.
bits about her, but not very much.
I
should look into her more.
Let me give you the Wikipedia for her. I'll put it in the.
Oh, that would be great. Thanks, brother.
There's a Wikipedia. I'll put it in the comments too, so
That'd be
everybody else can see it.
Yeah, I got that. Thanks, Mitch.
But she's like she was for the UBI for Andrew Yang. She was basically every point that I've been able to find that she basically is ticking every box I can find so far.
Yeah, Yang was good too. I like Yang.
Yang had a good idea with the UBI, but that sounded like the only policy he had. He didn't seem to know about anything else.
Yeah, that's the only thing he had.
Good point. That's a good point.
Oh, she's Jewish.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that'll keep her out of office right there.
Hold on, let me read more. Maybe she'd quit being a Jew. Hold on, she might have a chance still. Hold on.
She's in favor of the Equality Act.
Hey, is it fair to say that being a Musk?
Oh my God, she went to UNM, University of New Mexico. That's right down in Albuquerque. That's fun.
Do those that fall into the Elon Musk world of belief and thought and whatnot, should they get a title of religion unto themselves these days? You know,
dude.
Well, the Trump followers are definitely a religious cult.
Well,
they're not even quiet about it anymore. They've called him their messiah.
They had a literal golden statue of him.
Yeah, but the Trump guys already have a name. They're called pulsars, right? The ones that pulsar themselves right onto the prick that is Donald Trump's fucking appendage, you know?
Man, can I tell you something? I wish she would become president. You know why? Let me read part of this wiki to you. She learned about world religions and social justice at home, but first became interested in speaking from the pulpit on social matters when she saw her rabbi speak against the Vietnam War. Shit. Where did I go there? Oh, after leaving Texas, she went to New York City intending to pursue a career as a cabaret singer, but got distracted by quote unquote bad boys and good dope. Vanity Fair wrote that Williamson spent her 20s in a growing state of existential despair. In New York, Williamson suffered from deep depression following the end of a relationship. She has said that this experience gave rise to a desire to spend the rest of her life helping people. So the fact that she like went and partied and admitted it, oh my God, the conservatives are going to have a fit about her. And she's divorced. And like, that's like a conservative nightmare right there. I hope she fucking wins.
So they're calling a woman a piece of trash who I would literally be looking to ask out on a date. That's interesting.
Right. She's 70. She's 70 and she looks like she's like 63-ish.
Oh, this isn't just the conservatives. This is the Democrats shitting on her too.
I like the cut of her jib, honey. Yeah, if you're ever in Vancouver and you're looking for a dry martini, I got your action, baby.
I almost did the fist pump there, and then I realized I shouldn't do that right now. I'll give that to you later, Skits. Good job. I'll just say good job. Oh, I love new hashtags. Randy said, "I'm not a gynecologist, but I can look into it."
Interesting. She's only at 4% in the popularity, but that's exactly where Bernie started when he first started doing his campaigns.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Definitely look into her.
I've been wanting, honestly, I would love someone Jewish because if if everybody wants to be stereotypical about Jewish people, then yes, please save us some money. And be a tight ass for a change in the government. I would love for somebody in the government to be a tight ass and quit wasting money. Like I was watching the Congress and they're like going back and forth picking on each other, and they have like pictures of tweets blown up on these big boards. It costs like $300 fucking to do that. That's a board. And we're paying for that shit.
Yeah,
so
that's not a
Matt Gaetz or a Democrat about some tweet they tweeted. Fuck you. Literally, dude.
That's not a bad perspective.
4x6. It was ridiculous.
It's not a bad perspective.
Somebody. I mean,
That's funny.
seriously, if they want to pick on Jewish people and say that, fine. I'd love to have a Jewish person. If that's what they do, sure. If all you conservatives want to say that shit.
Little matzo ball soup. Come on.
Well,
man.
you know, if she's got 4%
don't
in
you
the
get me
polls
started
at
on
this
Jewish
point,
food.
you know, I don't know about her ever getting to be president, but I think she might be in a good position there that, you know, she could use this cycle to get herself known. And then 2 years from now, you might see her elected to Congress.
Yeah. Who knows, man? It's all about who you know. Maybe she knows the right person. If you know the right person, you'll get everywhere in this world.
Yeah.
Or convince the right person to admit they know you. Let me say that.
Yeah. Well, knowing the right person can get you anywhere too. The only reason Lauren Boebert's in Congress now is because she started out as an escort and made it with some of the high up Republicans.
That explains a lot.
And why do the conservatives like her? Because she can suck cock?
Yep.
No, but hey, you know, everybody's got a ladder to climb. It may not be your ladder, but it's still their ladder.
No, my
right?
point is no. That's not my point. I don't give a shit what somebody does, but don't stand up there and preach that it's wrong that people do shit if you've already
I was
fucking done
only
it.
kidding.
Oh, yeah.
I was only kidding.
No, I know.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I go very literal. My bad.
Yeah, I know. I was just being
My whole
a jerk.
family does that.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times when I go
serious
literal
shit out of
afterwards,
it.
it's because I'm giving you shit. But that time I was serious.
Yeah, no, remember, it's me. I only cut in to make a point when it's bullshit, right? You know.
You know, I'm loving that we're having a good spirited conversation here, but I think I need to wind down. We've been going over 3.5 hours already.
That's because you let Dick and me in here at the same time. What were you thinking?
So, you know, I love having you here, and honestly, I'd like to keep going, but I'd better.
I was wondering. I'm Pacific Coast, and it's almost midnight, and all you people are all like over there. You know.
No, I'm only an hour. I'm only an hour ahead of you. I'm Mountain Time.
Yeah, it's almost 2 o'clock here.
Yeah, I know Skits is West Coast. Yeah.
Honestly, my schedule's flipped, and I've been going to sleep at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and then getting up at like noon or 1-ish, 2-ish. I don't care.
I wish
YouTube
that I
life.
had a schedule that lasted more than a week without getting screwed up. I haven't had that happen in years.
Same here.
No, Dick, it's gaming life. I found a new game I like, and I stayed up till 6 fucking o'clock in the morning the first night I had it playing it because I found an edition that came out for free, and I was totally fucking psyched. And I downloaded that shit.
Dude, do you remember the old game, the city builder Pharaoh that became Cleopatra?
No new topic.
Good night, Purple. We love you. Thanks for having us all up here tonight. We really appreciate your time.
We're going to go around for anybody who wants to plug anything or final thoughts. Skits, why don't you start?
Just thanks for having me on, Purple. It's always a privilege and an honor. It's always great to see all of y'all, Mage, Beck, Dick, Dog, everybody out in the audience there.
Yeah, wish you could get in here more often.
Cutie.
Yeah, I'll definitely try. It's always fun. I always have a great time with y'all. So, but just thank you, everybody, and be great. Be good to each other.
Beck, you got anything coming up?
Absolutely not. Except I'm going to be working on my video of my surgery journey. So I'll be doing that and working on it soon. As soon as I get my head out of this fucking game. And just remember that the moral of this entire stream was be considerate of each other.
Yeah. Thanks.
Sorry, Robert. Miss you too.
I'd just like to
miss
say
that fucker.
The usual. Thanks for having me on. And I can't believe I was on a stream with Uncle Beck and Dick Dawson and did manage to get a few words in edgeways.
Crazy, right?
How cool is that?
It is pretty crazy.
Actually, they should have a T-shirt.
Give that man an Emmy.
Okay, Dick, you got anything you want to plug?
Well,
every day of the week.
Yeah, I would like to say, there's a lot of, little tight spaces that I like to play in when I'm out on the internet. But Skitscrasher and Beck, they're two of my favorites. So it was really good to play tonight.
It was. Thank you for letting us play in your sandbox, Purple.
See y'all soon.
Mage, you got anything you want to say before we go?
Yep. If you can pull up the link I just put in there.
Oh no, I'm scared.
Paranoia, self-destroy. Yeah.
Actually, I don't have a way to put that on screen.
Really?
Nope. You'll have to put it in the YouTube chat for everyone.
Haven't heard Purple lie yet.
Purple doesn't know how to. It's not working.
I know I don't. It just doesn't come. I'll try to plant a lie, and then I open my mouth, and the truth falls out every fucking time.
Anyway, so
I just gave up. I gave up trying. I'm not good at it.
Anyway, it's my Amazon. Excuse me.
Purple, you tried your best. Just hit the button. Just say goodnight.
Let Mage finish. Let Mage finish.
Well, as you can see, I'm planning on getting a dog, and I've got nothing for a dog, basically. So I've added a few things to my wish list for toys, some treats. There's a water bowl on here, so if anyone wants to help me out, please do so.
Yeah, you guys donate if you can. That's cool.
And don't worry if ultimately I end up not getting a dog or something happens, and I'll just donate whatever you sent. So it'll go to you either way.
Yep. But let's help
either for you or for a shelter.
Roommate.
Yeah.
Okay, we better all stop. Go ahead, Purple.
Yeah, I'll just be doing my regular thing again next week. Wednesday at noon, Thursday at 10 p.m. Central Time. And on April 1st, we're going to be running a fundraiser starting noon Saturday, April 1st, for Bub and Alex to get them their plane tickets to move to Germany.
Nice. Good deal.
So with that, then, I just want to thank all the people who have been contributing and helping me keep things running here. Skits, of course. Robert X, who just popped in and is also, I think since the very beginning, but for several years, been one of my main moderators here. The Lavender Lady, Kitty the Atheist, Greg Hartwick, Southern Sal, and Vonrek. Dog had also been contributing here. I understand when he got in the hospital, didn't have so much cash, but I appreciate all the time you did help out here.
It's a divorce thing at the moment. I don't know where my money's going. Till that's sorted, everything's on hold.
Yeah, whatever. Appreciate for all the months that you were helping here. So I appreciate all you people helping me.
Oh, it'll come back, mate. Don't worry.
So with that, and Oz just popped in at the last moment here.
Hello, Oz. How you doing, brother?
Sorry, we were just shutting down, Oz. So with that, I will say good night to you all.
Peace out.
And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Hi, fellow babies.
Bye.